biggest crashes we've seen so far here in Riga.
Strap in, buckle up. I'm on a 10, I'm on a level 10. I wanna win, then I wanna win again. You thought I was done? I'm hoping it never ends. If you wanna run, then I'm on a level 10.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Riga, Latvia. It's a Riga, baby. Round 5 of Drift Masters has landed in the European city, and we are cooking up some real magic right here. Can you smell what's cooking, Jacob? Because it is hot in Riga this weekend, even though the clouds have just descended over the racetrack.
I gotta say, this round has been a breath of fresh air, that is for sure. It has been insane how different this entire event has been feeling. It's great. I'm speechless.
I'm also speechless because top 32 earlier on this afternoon was incredible. We see thrills and spills, highs and lows, as we always do at Drift Masters, but whatever the weather and whatever is happening on track, the whole place is packed out. We are sold out here in Latvia for an incredible top 16, and we just see the incredible top 16 parade. But first of all, we're going to get to our calendar and have a look at where we've been and where we're going. These are the winners. Shanahan took the win at round 1. Then it was Viencek in Spain. Pavel Kobalinski finally stood on the top step of the podium in Ireland, and then Shanahan in Finland broke that losing streak, getting back onto the podium. Up next, we head to Ferropolis, the Iron City in Germany, before all roads lead to the Pegay Narodovway to the Red Bull Drift Masters finale. Well, this is what happened earlier on. As we can see, our crowds now waiting eagerly for our top 16 parade. Our drivers to head out on track. But before we get into that, we're going to head into our little video thinking about what happened last year when Peter Viencek took the win and took the crown, the King of Riga.
Becoming the King of Riga is not an easy task. I think it needs to be more than just a great driver to win the King of Riga. You need to have a great team, you have a great setup.
Peter done a good job. Peter's quite strong on this track. He always qualifies good here as well.
Piotr's team did an incredible job of getting suspension set up.
The car was in a place where nobody assumed it to be. Peter was just untouchable.
He really shows that his car is well capable, and he has probably one of the most commitment style of driving on this track. He can just do the full thing flat out.
Taking home the crown of Riga comes down to a lot. Being in the right headspace, having the right team around you to keep you in that headspace, and having the car underneath you to do the job.
Last year was kind of like an exhibition of how well his team could work together to create a vehicle that looked very easy to drive.
My favorite victory in Riga was the last one, of course, because the new car against James. It's the one that to remember for sure.
Every time you're battling Peter, you're taking chances and trying to go as fast as possible. It's always a fight till the end.
He's won championships, he's been crowned the King of Riga. He knows what he's got to do to win it.
You can never deny Piotr at this track.
Yeah, there we go. That is how Peter Viencek done it last year. But can he do it this year? That is the big question on everybody's lips. He looked on form yesterday in qualifying, and he looks on form today in top 32. And let's take a look back at top 32 and how it played out earlier on this afternoon. Well, it was all smiles for Pavel Korpolinski as he took down the wildcard driver Bolmanis in that heated top 32 battle, but it wasn't easy and he didn't look like he was on flying form, Jacob.
Now, a couple of mistakes creeping into his usually perfect game, and you can tell, I mean, he's very excited. He's usually a little more humble in the top 32, but I think the stress of it kind of got to him, but he got the win. Lauri Heinonen, though, all relax. I mean, he just looks incredible. A ton of pace, all speed, all throttle all the time. And I mean, Dave Egan did look really, really good, but unfortunately he met Lauri Heinonen, who was almost unstoppable.
Yeah, he certainly is, and we called him the dark horse this weekend. Another dark horse coming out this weekend could be Conor Falvey. We see him on the podium at Mondello Park at round 3, but this weekend he's really gelling with the track, and he looked consistent yesterday in qualifying. Can he do the same this weekend as Aspen Road took him for a bit of a wild ride around Riga and made contact with the back end of that Silvia? Then we move on to a surprise exit. Jack Shanahan falling out of that first outside zone, and Dwayne McKeever getting the win and advancing through.
Yeah, a common topic that's going to come up all the rest of today is track development. This track is changing constantly, and drivers trying to just chase the setup to try and figure out what they're able to do to make the best of it. The one driver that did, for sure, Sima Oscar Hal. Oh, man, I just can't get over how incredible this young Estonian driver has been.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and we were the first people to admit that we never knew who this young man was when he arrived onto the race circuit on Thursday morning, but now his name is definitely embedded in our memories because we expect big things from this. So this is our top 16 driver parade. James Dean just taking a look at the machinery that he has to go up against this afternoon, and this is the heat tree, and this is how the battles stack out. And we have some heated battles coming up for you. Peter Viensek's take on Timo Sudma, Ite Sedet and Cherba. The first two battles straight out of the bat are big ones, Jacob.
Yeah, and then into just a battle of the Titans and champions. Lauri Heinonen and James Dean, that is going to be one that is highly anticipated. Paul Korpolinski, Nasser Alabali. I mean, Powell needs to keep on this to keep his championship hopes alive.
Yeah, so does Conor Shanahan. He's going up against a very on-form Oliver Rambadou this weekend, who, you know, for me, he's just looking for podiums. He knows he's not really in the championship fight, so every weekend for him, every move forward in competition is a good weekend. And then, of course, we've got Conor Falvey to take on Dwayne McKeever. Another battle where it's Irish versus Irish. But before we head out onto the circuit, this was our top 16 parade where all of our drivers brought their machinery out on track to say hello to all the fans. And we have a huge amount of support from all different countries from around Europe this weekend.
Yeah, and this is the biggest event that we have thrown out this track. It is completely sold out. It was sold out going into yesterday. Every single seat taken, standing room only, and just fans from all over the world supporting their drivers. And it's just an incredible collection of countries and nations and wild fans.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, those drivers were out on track enjoying a brief moment of fresh air, a bit of silence on the circuit. But the circuit is something this weekend that has been challenging. And we, earlier on, spoke to one of the drivers that went out there and told us exactly what it takes to drive this track.
What is up? I am Jack Shanahan and we are here at the famous Bikernieku racetrack in Latvia for round 5 of the Drift Masters Championship, and this is your track preview. Let's go. We are here at turn 1, clipping point 1, the initiation zone for this track, and I must say this corner is probably one of the most challenging corners of the whole season, to be honest. You flick from the start line over the crest, completely blind, down the hill off camber, and it's super challenging. And if it goes wrong, you can end up in the wall right over here. But if you get this part of the track right, it sets you up completely for the rest of the run, and it's absolutely perfect from there. Coming from outer zone 1, you've got outer zone 2 after the first transition into inner zone 3, and then you've got outer zone 4, which is another really difficult part of the track. If you get outer zone 1 wrong, there is a chance that you can end up in the tyre wall, which has had some really famous crashes over the years. But if you do get the first corner right, it leads to a perfect line here. My probably favourite part of the track, to be honest, because the look from the grandstand when you come through here with 2 cars in tandem, no better view in drift, I think, so it's unbelievable. When you make it through outer zone 4, you transition into a modulation zone over outer zone 5, which has a little bit of a bumpy transition into the final zone, which is a full wall ride the whole way to this outside wall to the finish line here. Now that you guys know about the track, I'm going to have to try and remember everything I've told you, and hopefully I can do it also.
Well, there we go. That was Jack Shanahan, and unfortunately didn't make it work because this was the zone that took him out of competition. It was outside zone 1, Jacob, where he fell out of it, and the judges said, that's not what we're looking for. It doesn't give you a nice chase.
No, and it's a really, really difficult zone, and it's made even more difficult from the fact that there's been changes in the actual surface layer here. A repaving of it and an extension of it has made it that much more difficult. In a zone that will catch out so many drivers is this one right here, zone 5. If you hit this zone correctly, zone 6 is going to be incredible. If you overextend, if you add too much angle, if you are shallow, if you do anything but run this perfectly, the last bit of this track is going to be a complete handful.
Well, it certainly is. Well, let's talk about handfuls. We've got plenty of handfuls of good battles coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. It's top 16. Well, we are ready to kick off our top 16. We go head down straight to the start line to Peter Wiecek to take on Timo Sundma. It will be Poland to take on Finland, and these two guys are strapped in, buckled up and ready to rock and roll. The headlights shine from Wiecek, but before we send him off the line, let's hear from last year's King of Riga.
Here in Riga, it felt amazing. We've been able to secure the first spot fighting against James Dean in the final. So it was a kind of dream scenario, especially on this track. I will definitely try my best. I will definitely try my best to achieve that again.
Well, it looks like he's on a good trajectory to get that once again. The highest qualifier now sits in that lead position to take on Finland's very own Timo Sundma, who made his way through top 32 against Alan Hines. But Timo Sundma right now will be taking on a man that's on form and in the zone. And as they slam those cars into gear and off the line, he is ready to go for top 16. Peter Wiecek to lead out Timo Sundma as Wiecek fires that car in almost no braking on that first outside zone as he flicks it to outside zone 2. Sundma on the inside looking for the door of Wiecek's A90 Supra, but it's a bumper-to-bumper transition now as Sundma starts to apply the pressure to the Polishman. They fire into 6. Oh, Sundma backs it in, makes contact with Wiecek, and Wiecek, unfazed, still gets the job done and brings it across the line.
Sundma knew he had to put everything into this run just to be able to keep up the pace of Piotr Wiecek, who, you know, he is the all-time... Oh,
big damage.
Is not good. Well, we'll get to that in just 1 second. Initiation from Piotr looks fantastic. Sundma, though, caught it a little bit by the pace. You can see that gap already starting at the very beginning of this run. And unfortunately, when you get caught out like that, you start making some silly decisions to try and find the side of that lead car. But Piotr, he's just on rails. He's found his pace, he's found the grip, and at this point, it feels like nothing is going to slow him down. And as we get into zone 6, Sundma with that hip check, catching the back wheel of Piotr. And I think it's coming through that Sundma is going to get blamed for that.
Yeah, so hearing it from the judges and the guys behind the scenes. Oh, look at that, you can see it. What a camera shot right there from Red Bull TV. Just gets exactly where we wanted to see. Sundma being deemed at fault. Peter Wiecek was accelerating in that zone after the decel. You're right, Jacob. He's just doing exactly what he needs to do. I think him and the car, I think it's a rinse and repeat from 2025. I'm honest with you, he had the car under him, the team behind him, and he was in the headspace. And we spoke about that in that interview. And look at this big damage though. So he will now get a 10-minute competition timeout to get that car. You can see the bent arm underneath. We will get Wiecek into his paddock and get that car repaired before moving on with that battle. We're going to move on to the next battle in our top 16. Will be Itay Sadet to take on Benedikt Scherber. So we're going to get those guys' tyres warmed and ready to rock and roll. You can see the grey cloud that has now descended over the top of the circuit here in Riga. No rain expected, Jacob.
Oh, you said it.
Well,
we'll see what happens.
Every weather forecast that we've been watching for the last 2 days have said that there's going to be no rain, but it's just going to be overcast. That could come into effect.
Yeah, and we already know that the track changes so much when it comes to sunlight and everything else. So we'll find out how things go as now, hopefully, we just have consistent cloud cover into the end of this event. So another shot here of Piotr, and you can really tell just how smooth that car is. Now get our next battle into the burnout box.
Yeah,
those tires warmed up.
One thing that I just want to briefly touch on before we move on with this battle. In Wiecek's initiations, there's no braking.
Yeah.
No braking. He is literally a Scandinavian flick or a faint entry into that first outside zone. And I think that's catching a lot of drivers out when they're used to using the handbrake to slow the car down. Just something to bear in mind when we move forward in competition. Is that pace and that grip going to be catching a lot of drivers out? We're back on the line. You can see the multitude of tools that our start line Marshall Martin has now collected over the course of the season. He uses to hold these cars together when they need a few repairs. And he's down there now checking out Itay Sadet's full car carbon fibre BMW G87. And he'll be taking a look around Benedictus Cherba's 2JZ powered BMW G87 as well, as those guys get ready to leave the line. You can see Cherba in the car, that typical pose, that staring straight down the circuit, the car into gear, a little test to the handbrake. We wait for the light to go green, and here we go. The second battle of our top 16 is underway and off the line and through the gears as Ite Sedet lead out Benedictus Cherba. Nice initiation from both those guys. A little check up on the handbrake from Ite Sedet only allows Cherba to get deeper into the pocket, as now Cherba goes for the front wheel of the carbon fibre BMW. They fire through outside zone 4, back across Cherba, not messing around, but he gives him the room to manoeuvre outside zone 5 before making a wobbly dive into outside zone 6. Cherba not looking too rock steady right now as he jumps up onto the door and across the line.
Yeah, Cherba didn't look perfect, but I was watching more of his chase than I was watching of the lead, and I think it had a little bit extra movement on initiation, and that would have thrown Cherba a bit. And then it's going to be getting into 6 as well. I'm just curious how that all played out. The first zone here looks pretty good. Cherba sliding just a little bit off on that first outside zone, but does a good job to collect the grip and make sure he's in the right spot. Overextends just a little bit in the chase, and this is going to give you a great idea of what it is like in this car as you come around the grandstands. And it's kind of what you're staring at the front windshield. And there's Cherba just overextending that little bit through zone 1, collecting that inside zone 2, and then through 3. And there's Cherba just caught a little bit on the inside. He needs to fall back a little bit more before the transition.
Yeah, he seemed to did that in his top 32 battle as well.
Yeah.
And that kind of made the chase with Juha Rinnan a little scrappy, but nevertheless, still getting the job done. And Cherba out there, look at that big dive down. And you could see how he had to work to get that car settled in outside zone 6. Ite Sedet, for me, a few small corrections, but we're splitting hairs. Yeah,
we're going to be splitting a lot of hairs as we continue on through top 16, because these drivers, now they need to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, and the judges are going to expect them to be perfect, and we get to point out the little mistakes.
The little mistakes. Well, there we go. Cherba on the line to lead out Ite Sedet. And we wait for that light to go green. You can see Ite already creeping in that chase position as Cherba now lights the tyres off and clicks through the gears and down towards initiation as he gets that car moved across the circuit. Ite Sedet almost impeding that initiation, but job done for both guys as they get through outside zone 1. Big flick. Look at that from Cherba, that style coming into play, and that has really messed up Ite Sedet. He can't find himself through the smoke, but Cherba not as deep on the curb. Big transition back into that final outside zone. Ite Sedet really needs to get some proximity here and dive up onto the door. And can he get there across the line?
To be a tough call for the judges here, because there was mistakes for both them in both the lead and in the chase. Cherba with a couple of big corrections to try and find himself in the correct zone. So the car not wanting to float out as far as what he's hoping or expecting it's going to. Ite gets caught in a bit. Cherba with same thing, just a bit of an extra move through initiation. The judges just want you to float out towards the right and then flick in, and that's the only movement that they're expecting, and that's what the chase driver's expecting as well. Ite, though, he really does get caught at the beginning of this run. Look how much time he's spending in the smoke. Pops out early on the inside. You can almost count it off with Ite, where he's basically blind, and it's really tough to try and fight through that. You're just kind of using instinct at that point. And that should be our final zone 6, and Ite not quite up on the door.
Yeah, I kind of expected Ite to make a move there. You see a few wonders coming into the lead position from Benedictus Cherba, and a late entry into outside zone 6 as well. Still manages to get in there and kind of on that qualifying line, but it's not 100% from Cherba.
No, it's not. I think a few of the bounces are really kicking the car around, as Jack talked about in the pre-show. It is bumpy through a lot of this track. The drivers have done incredible work to reduce how much that affects the car, but it still does. So it'll be interesting to see what the judges think on this one. I have a feeling, I know what I want to see out of it, but I don't know if they agree with me.
No, exactly that, and we'll find out in just a few moments' time as those decisions start to creep in from our judges after watching back over all the replays, and our man Addy back out there after his quick lunch break, getting some of those incredible slow-mo shots. Well, both drivers out of the car having a chat, two very similar machines. It all just comes down to the driving style. Slide left for Cherba, right for Ite Sedet. And it's going to be Benedictus Cherba. Cherba getting the win, hands on the head, and the Lithuanian crowd roar in the grandstands. And a split decision from the judges. So, you know, it's a tough game. I see it though.
I was leaning more on the one more time side.
Yeah.
But I do understand where they're coming from on
exactly that. Well, there we go. We're going to move it along to our next battle between James Dean and Laurie Heinen. And interesting news coming from down on the start line. Laurie Heinen opting, the higher qualifier, opting to chase first.
This is something I think we might actually see a bit more of. Talking to some drivers over the break, the amount of tire wear has increased.
Yeah.
Which is not all that common. And drivers saying that, you know, they almost had a full lap available to them on the tires yesterday. Today, they're barely getting the 2 laps done. So I think a lot of drivers are going to opt to chase first to maintain as much traction and tread as they can.
Yeah, interesting move. Never seen it here before in Riga. Well, here we go. They're off the line. It's James the Machine Dean in the Ford Mustang RTR to lead out Laurie Heinen in that NASCAR V8 powered Nissan 200SX as Laurie Heinen straight up onto the door of James Dean, tucks into the pocket. Dean fires that Mustang across the circuit, but there's no shaking the Finnish driver as Heinen stays glued to Dean. Even through the smoke comes Laurie Heinen, but Dean is on an absolute flyer right now as he puts it into that final outside zone. Laurie Heinen goes for the dive up into the door, noses that 180SX on the door and across the line.
Getting finals level battles here in top 16, and unfortunately I did see a drop of moisture on the lens of that camera. Hey, you started it.
I started it.
You did. But man, this is epic to get things going. Look at Lowry is on him right away. I think he might have made just a bit of contact through one. Both drivers stay in it though. Neither one of them is going to give up. Neither one is going to flop in a scenario like that. They are going to just keep the throttle down and keep the run going. Look at how locked in he looks. Little adjustments, gets the transition done.
Look at the windscreen of Laurie Heinen's car.
Yeah, I didn't see any wipers move, so that's a good sign. But
yeah, there is definitely rain falling on the circuit now. Unsure of whether it's the final turn or the start line. Driver saying that on Friday on our practice session, on Thursday, that it was raining on the start line, dry on the main circuit.
I can see it. This is a very interesting place when it comes to the weather. There's a thing called the racetrack effect where weather can just start over a racetrack or it can stop over a racetrack. That is quite a few drops on the windshield. Man, look at that transition though. Holy, Lowry just, he's timing everything perfectly. I love all the old school gauges in his car, old school switches. This is just a very analog machine.
That's incredible. But with an incredible lead, you expect an incredible chase.
Agreed.
And James Dean did really lay down that nice lead line. Laurie Heinen, though, the higher qualifier, now asked to lead out James Dean. What could Dean do? We know he is a master of chase driving. Heinen looked like he was on rails earlier on. Has he got the grip in the car? Has he got the car underneath him this weekend as they come off the line and through the gears? Dean tucks into formation as Heinen fires it in right to the edge of the circuit, stands on the accelerator. Dean right onto the door of Laurie Heinen as they fire through to outside zone 2. Dean taking risks, no messing around for the Irishman as he goes very deep and transitions almost at the same time. Heinen takes it to the edge of the circuit in to outside zone 6. Dean now makes a dive onto the door, attacking the side of Laurie Heinen's S13 and across the line.
Oh, man. Just blow for blow, and I think both drivers are just pumped for the driving that's coming down right now. But you get two drivers that are at the top of their game, both champions, fast drivers, aggressive drivers. Like their styles are very similar. Yeah, and it's a style that a champion generally has. You need to be able to adapt. You need to have speed. You need to have angle. But look at this, James. He's pushing so hard. And I think Lowry goes pretty far into 4. And James, in the chase, seems to sink just a little bit deeper on it. We'll catch on the replay how far James ended up going on 4. He might have just caught a little bit of the rumble strip and would have lost some traction coming through there, and that might have been the difference maker before they went into 5.
Yeah, and you can see James Dean there sacrificing outside zone 5. And you can see Dean up on the curb there, well, just catching a little bit of the curb. I wouldn't say fully on it, but he definitely caught the curb outside zone 4. Easy to do, especially in the smoke following Laurie Heinen.
Yeah, and the big thing that the judges are going to look at is, did anything happen with Lowry that would have, pushed James into that position? You got to... Anytime there's a mistake, you have to look at the cause and effect. There, James, I wonder how many tire marks are on Larry's door now. But look at this, just bumping and grinding all the way through zone 6. Very equal pieces of machinery from 2 very different years.
Yeah, 2 very different years, 2 very incredible drivers.
Yeah.
We can see the judges deliberating this one, still chatting about it as we get to look at some of these beautiful shots. And really good to see Heinen back in that S13, that 180SX, and piloting it the way he does. And after such a tough year as well, he would love a bit of redemption right now against the master that is James Dean.
big smiles for both of them.
Will it be go decisions inside him, left, fine, and right for James Dean? It's going to be a one more time,
Yeah.
Well, judges couldn't split them.
No. That's all right.
I tell you what, I'm not mad about it.
No, neither am I.
I'm not mad about it.
We get to see it again? Oh, no. I think everybody here is pretty pumped to see that at least one more time.
Yeah, certainly so.
Man, what a start. What a start to top 16.
Yeah, so just looking through my paperwork, trying to see who's coming up next, if we're going to jump through or we're going to jump back to the second half of our battle between Peter and Teemu Sundma. Obviously, Peter Viensek taking on that damage onto that rear wheel of that A90 Supra. We know he has an incredible team down there with ample amounts of spare parts, so did they get that done? So we're going to go to Pavel Korpelinski and Nasser Al-Habali next. Big championship points in this one. Nasser Al-Habali doing an incredible job in Finland.
Yep.
Him and Teemu Sundma having a little bit of contact down on that outside zone along that wall. But for me, Pavel Korpelinski now, the pressure's starting to be applied. You see who's in the top 16. You see how these guys are driving. You now know you need to make a move forward. You need to get into the top 8.
Well, and you're kind of in that bracket as well, where there's one other, big competitor in the championship fight against you. So you got to get this done, because if not, then there's a good chance that, James could potentially keep pushing.
Exactly that. Well, before we send Pavel Korpelinski off the line, let's hear from the current points leader.
I'm very excited. I like driving in Riga, although I know that this is one of the most challenging tracks when it starts to rain. But if it stays dry, I'm sure that Riga and the track and the drivers, of course, can give a really good show. I'm really hoping that the weather will stay good and we can do some close battles with a lot of action and a good entertainment for the fans.
Well, he always entertains the fans, that's for sure. That always comes in plentiful. But will the weather hold out? That is a big question. He mentioned it. I'm not the only one to mention it this weekend.
Okay.
Well, here we go. Creeping off the line. Nasser Al-Habali to chase down Poland's very own Pavel Korpelinski. Can he keep a hold of the championship, or will Nasser Al-Habali hunt him down as a man from El Salvador loses some ground on initiation and outside zone 1 as Pavel Korpelinski now flicks that car across the circuit, looking rock steady out front. It's a nice lead line at the moment as Nasser Al-Habali shortcuts the circuit to try and gain back some lost ground as Korpelinski puts it into that final outside zone, dials on the pressure, puts the back end of that car towards the wall, and there's nothing in it for Nasser Al-Habali.
It really does seem to be the drivers that can initiate without touching any handbrake, with just a ton of speed into zone 1, are the ones that are having a massive advantage in the lead, because even in the chase, if you brake, you're now immediately 3 or 4 cars behind. So I don't know if that's exactly the case here, but Pavel Korpelinski is just so fast. A little bit wide on zone 3, kind of rare for him, especially in that section. He seems to kind of, put the eye of the needle through the whole thing, and doesn't often miss an inside clip. But Nasser, he's there. He's in the battle the entire way, but he's a little bit further back and just not really finding that same pace. So see how this plays out. Korpelinski's car pretty bouncy through here too. Like, I don't know if they quite have that same dampening setup that a few of the other drivers have, because he seems to be doing a bit more hop and skip between 5 and 6.
Yeah, there's a few drivers that we've been watching today and yesterday qualifying that have been hopping and skipping around a little bit. And as you say, the nature of the circuit here in Riga is it isn't dead smooth like a mill pond, that's for sure. Nasser Al-Habali for me could have took more of a choice there to dive instead of backing out. But yeah, I think the initiation, it will come down to that. And you say hardly any braking from Pavel Korpelinski when he fired that car in.
Yeah, it seems to be the best way to initiate if you want to pull a bit of a gap on the chase driver.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, here we go. Nasser Al-Habali now on the line to lead out Pavel Korpelinski, the man from El Salvador. Pops that carbon Kevlar 400Z up off the tarmac and now rows through the gears as he flicks that car to initiation. Got a little dab of the handbrake, now stands on it. But look at that, Pavel Korpelinski not scared to tuck up on the inside. Big transition back, but it's shallow from the Nasser Al-Habali. Will he find outside zone 4? He certainly does as he flicks it back. Pavel Korpelinski's with him, hunting him down every inch of the tarmac as Pavel Korpelinski now looks to make the dive up into the door as Nasser Al-Habali tries to run away from the Polishman.
The chase game was just there for Korpelinski as well. I don't know if we missed something there at the end. It looked like something flew off for a second.
The back end of Nasser Al-Habali's car, I do believe.
Oh, okay.
Part of the bodywork flew off and hit Pavel's car.
This is what I mean. So Nasser is grabbing handbrake before he's going into one, and it slows you down that little bit. It does give the chase driver a bit more time to kind of figure out where you're going to be on track and regain some of that proximity. But Nasser's doing a great job out front. It's just, for me, Powell's chase run is just a higher tier at this point, just a little closer.
Yeah, it certainly is. Not that many mistakes creeping in, really, for Nasser Al-Habali, if I'm brutally honest with you. It was I'd say it was a nicer lead line than Pavel Kopolinsky's.
No, there you go. So maybe Pavel's got him on the chase, and Nasser's got him on the lead. So we'll see what the judges think, though.
There you go. Look at that proximity applied in outside zone 6 from Pavel Kopolinsky. The surgeon, as we like to call it, haven't seen him that clean this weekend yet. We're waiting for the surgeon to arrive and make some of those clean cuts out the circuit.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see him kind of off form.
I wouldn't say off form. I'd say it's an evolution of the driving. I think he's coming out of his shell more as a driver and trying more things with more aggressive flicks.
Some more aggression,
yeah,
more style.
I think that's what it's coming down to. We're going to see who it is that takes it through to the top 8, or will it be another one more time? Slide him left for Kopolinsky, right for Nasser Al-Habali. And it's going to be Pavel Kopolinsky getting the win and advancing through to the top 8. Pavel Kopolinsky keeps the championship hope alive, and that now puts a lot of pressure on Peter and James Dean, and especially Connor Shanahan.
Yeah, every battle from here on out for all those drivers have championship implications.
Yeah, exactly that. We're back on the line with Peter Wiensek and Teemu Asunma as they sit on the line. Teemu Asunma, don't forget, was at fault for the damage on the back of that A90 Supra, that 2JZ Supra of Wiensek's. We know it'll be 110%. He had that competition time out. The door slams closed and they get the thumbs up all round. They look for the green light. And Asunma will lead them out from Finland. As Wiensek now starts to creep off the line, Asunma gets the green light to go, and he is rowing through the gears down to initiation. Look at this, Wiensek. I wonder if he'll keep his nose clean in this battle, and he certainly does. Look like he's going to. He's going to keep himself in the fight, but not apply too much pressure as he dives through the smoke outside zone 2. He lets Asunma make those moves. Asunma a little shallow on outside zone 4, goes wide up to the curb. A big bubble on the curb for Teemu Asunma as Peter Wiensek then keeps himself out of danger, just keeps it clean, keeps himself in the conversation, and brings it home across the line.
That could have been way worse for Asunma. Catching that bit of rumble strip broadside like that, you can bend a lot of arms real quick, and I think Asunma just he knew he's at fault, so he's already at a disadvantage. A lot of movement on the initiation, and as we said, the judges really not wanting the drivers to do that. They want just one quick snap over, and that's about it. But Asunma a little bit more wonky through there. Rest of this lead looking good. Great job on that inside zone 3. The transitions, everything else, but starting to wash wide on 5 really early. And that's right before he gets into the rumble strip. We'll probably catch it on this replay here, and you can see already wide on the outside line. Oh, lucky everything underneath the car held together.
Yeah, it was a very wild flick, and I think he was just trying to outrun or maybe throw off Peter Wiensek in the chase, but it didn't work. You see Wiensek way down there and on a nicer line into outside zone 5 than Teemu Asunma.
Yeah, Piotr is just very patient.
He's calculated. Yep. He's done this before. He's won this event multiple times. He knows what it takes to win a Riga.
Yeah, 4 to be exact.
4.
Crazy.
Thank you.
Hey, I got you.
You got me. There we go. Both guys out of the car. Wiensek keeps the helmet on. Maybe he doesn't know if it's that clear cut. Here we go. Slide left for Asunma, right for Wiensek, and it is that clear cut. It will be Peter Wiensek taking the win and advancing through to the top 8 and gets himself some more points in the bag moving forward. That championship, again, another driver alive for him.
Yeah, this is big for him as well. He really wants to get back up into that top spot and take another championship back, and we'll see how everything plays out here for him, but he's going to have a pretty steely Benedictus Turbo to go up against.
Well, we're going to find out how Peter's feeling, because Becky's down there on the track with Peter Wiensek, who is moving forward in competition.
Congratulations, Peter, on getting through to your next battle. Now, can you give us a quick track update? As we've seen a few raindrops dropping on the windshields there, what's it like for you?
Yeah, it definitely was visible that the rain starts. It only was like a few drops, but it already can mess up in your head. But fortunately, it felt exactly the same like in practice, so everything is good. So at least let's hope for a good show.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Peter. Good luck in your next battle.
There we go. Yeah, I mean,
I think he's so ready to battle. He's just like, I'm not taking the helmet off.
I think he's just in the zone.
Put me back out there.
I don't think he wants to get out of the car. I think he's just going to stay in the car. I think, if at the end of the day, if that's where he feels comfortable and he's in the right mindset, stay in the car.
Superstition going on.
Look, he needs to win.
Yeah, he needs to win.
He needs to win.
They all do. And the championship, this is the part of the year where the championship really comes into play. Connor Shanahan chasing first.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, took the words clean out of my mouth. Connor Shanahan opting to lead first.
Chase first.
Chase first.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. Brains all over the show. Our second place qualifier, Oliver Randalou, asked to lead out Shanahan. Now, look, who knows? Track conditions changed. It's got colder since our top 32. So is that still the same right move?
I don't think this track is the same between runs, let alone that long ago.
Exactly that. Well, here we go. We've got the green light and we are good to go. It's going to be Randalou from Estonia to lead our Ireland's very own, the former champion. Can he hold on to it right now as they fire in? Big hop across the circuit for Oliver Randalou, but he sticks that car in to that first outside zone. Good job for Randalou on the transition, but there's no shaking. Connor Shanahan at the moment as he now loses a little bit of ground, but he makes it back on a big dive to outside zone 5 as they look for the transition. Oh, almost contact. Shanahan with a brave transition into that final outside zone. Shanahan risking it all right now as he dives onto the door.
Yeah, I think it was the right call. Having the fresh rubber in the chase allows you to make moves like that.
Yeah.
It gives you the optimism to go, okay, I have everything underneath me. I don't have to worry about the tires. It's fresh rubber. Everything's just going to work the way I want it to. Oliver Randalou had a massive snap there on the initiation. Big old clutch kick to get that car over and rotate it. But look at both of them. Just great lines through one, good transitions. And it's right here where Connor starts to hunt him down. Realizes, like, okay, Randalou's doing a great job. I can start taking a couple of risks. And then through 5, I mean, the transition game of Connor Shanahan is world-renowned. And he kind of set a precedent for so many drivers to be able to step their game up. And Randalou on the lead, though, I mean, he's fast. You know he's going to be fast. Still pretty bouncy to that. And look at that,
There was
Connor.
contact, yeah.
The slightest bit.
Watch this. On this shot, you're going to just about see it. Boom, back of that car flexing up in the air. Shanahan rubs his front bumper along the back bumper of Oliver Randalou's BMW. Oliver Randalou's BMW is taking a beating this weekend.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Connor's car doesn't look perfect either, but this is what you come to expect of these cars this far into the season. I mean, just at this event alone.
I was just say, at this event alone, and it's going to only get worse for the condition of the back of these cars as we move forward to the final round of the Pagay Narodovway. As up next is a full-walled arena in Germany, and then we go into the ring.
Another tons of walls.
Exactly that. Well, there we go. Shanahan now on the line to lead out Oliver Randalou, and the team down there just duct taping the back end of that BMW back together, trying to keep that boot lid, tailgate from popping up. Trunk lid.
There you go.
There we go.
They're basically for show. The rear ends of these cars are basically for show.
Well, here we go. They get the thumbs up all round. We wait for that light to go green. Randalou already creeps off the line. He knows he can't let Shanahan get away as they fire through the gears. Shanahan now looks for the big flick to angle, and he gets it done. A little dab of the handbrake sets him up lovely for that first outside zone, but Randalou tucks into formation now. Starts to hunt down the side and the back bumper of that GTA 6, and Randalou's closer than Shanahan on the transitions. Randalou is not going to go down without a fight right now. The whole of Estonia is behind this young man as he makes a dive into that final outside zone. Shanahan sets it up lovely. Randalou goes for the rear wheel and across the line.
Another tough one. The judges are earning their pay this weekend. I don't know how you pick on this one. I really don't. The chase games are so similar. The leads are both fantastic. I mean, Oliver Randalou's chase early on in this battle is absolutely epic. Take a look here. Through 1, Oliver is already starting to hunt him down. Transition to 2, Oliver's way on the inside. He does a good job of quelling everything and already gets into the door of Connor Shanahan coming through that section. Absolutely wild. Man, Randalou is just so hungry for it.
Randalou is absolutely, I think the only thing you can take away from that is the little bit of an overtake there for Oliver Randalou. He crept forward on the front wheel.
He did, yeah.
But that shows aggression.
It does. It shows a lot of aggression.
And it shows that you're there, you're in the pocket.
It's proximity. At the end of the day, it's proximity. So I think his line in the chase is not amazing. He does give up a lot of things to gain that proximity, but listen, here, proximity is king. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, and it is, you're right. Proximity is king, and to be crowned the king of Riga. you know, they all want the crown. They all want to be crowned the king at the end of the day. Look at that, the shot, the door-on-door across the line, unbelievable. Both guys out of the car and both unsure of what way this is going to swing. A big sigh of relief there for Oliver Randalou as he steps out of the car. Slide him left for Shanahan, right for Oliver Randalou. It's going to be Oliver Randalou. Oliver Randalou takes down Connor Shanahan in the top 16, and a shake of the head for Connor Shanahan as Randalou waves to the Estonian fans in the grandstand, and the place erupts, Jacob.
Man, the disappointment there for a few of these Irish fans, and yeah, I mean, Estonia has absolutely shown up to this event.
They certainly have, and I tell you what, that is really pushing these drivers forward. And I'm not saying that there isn't a big Irish contingency here this weekend, because there certainly is as well, but the Estonians are louder, and I'm telling you now, that is pushing these drivers forward.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and a super heads-up battle here of two epic chase games.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, there we go. We go back on the line to our one more time battle between James Dean and Laurie Heinen. And Laurie Heinen, once again, the high qualifier, asking Dean to lead first.
Okay.
Well, I thought he was going to switch it up.
I thought maybe too.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't end up working out there for Connor, but Larry's just going to give her another go.
Well, there we go. He waves and puts his thumb up to the camera. He's ready to rock and roll. That NASCAR Pro-Charged V8, ready to scream alongside that Ford Mustang RTR. But two V8s screaming, one Pro-Charged, one nitrous fed as they come off the line and flick into action. Dean with a beautiful initiation, but look at Laurie Heinen, he's closer than he was before. Heinen willing to risk it all this weekend as Heinen now tucks up onto the door once again. He forces Dean to go wide. Oh, Laurie Heinen through the smoke as he pushes Dean to the outer limits of the track. Laurie Heinen forces Dean onto the wall. Dean looks absolutely flawless as he rubs the back end along the wall. We are witnessing greatness in Riga.
This is the final. It feels like it is the final run at the end of the season. All the championships into this one battle, and it really does show you what being crowned the King of Riga really means. That drivers are pushing this hard. Larry is on James Dean from the word go. Right off initiation, Larry is there. I think he's making contact through zone 1, which is the scariest place in the entire series to try and make contact with another driver. James Dean not phased, going through all the zones. He's leaving the door wide open for Larry to get back in there. And it's just an epic way to kick off this one more time battle.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. James Dean's lead line is flawless as well. He's really, whatever they've done overnight since qualifying, that car is now figured out. It's worked out. They've got all the little bugbears got rid of, because the lead from Dean is flawless.
Yeah, I know they were running into a bit of a misfire issue through zone 1 yesterday. James did post about it, and obviously that's fixed because the car is so fast.
It is so fast right now, and it needs to be so fast right now, because he is going to have to go beyond his own limits to force Laurie Heinen into mistake. He needs that chase to be perfect. Heinen sits on the line, ready to do business. The Finnish driver gets the green light to go. It's Finland versus Ireland. As Finland fire down and through the gears, Dean jumps onto the back bumper and mirrors the initiation. Laurie Heinen a little wandering outside zone 1, but Dean's on him straight away as he dives through the smoke. A wobble from both guys on the transition as they now look for the transition back to outside zone 5. Heinen almost backwards, but Dean matches it. Dean goes for it once again, almost takes the back end off Laurie Heinen's S13. Now Dean with the aggression, a big clutch kick onto the door and across the line.
Can we just watch this all day? Can this just be the entire event? Let's just go until the sun sets or they run out of tires or something, because this is incredible driving. This is world class. It really doesn't get much better than this. Look at James Dean just absolutely pushing to try and outdo Larry Heinen on zone 1, and both of them completely flying through 3, all of 4. Man, this is amazing. I don't know how else to put it. It is just wonderful to be able to experience this here in Latvia.
I feel we've been robbed and this should be the final battle, but I tell you what, I'm not sad that we're seeing it right now either, because these two this weekend are just a match made in heaven. This driving is perfect.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing, and for Larry, it's just playing spoiler to James Dean's championship run, and James Dean, he wants another one. He wants another title. He's got this Mustang figured out now, and it's just the last charge at the tail end of this season to try and take that championship home.
I'll tell you something that does make me sad.
What's that?
It makes me sad that Laurie Heinen has had so many issues with that car this season, because Laurie Heinen this year in that car, we could have witnessed greatness once again.
Yeah, driving is on championship form. Unfortunately, the car just hasn't been there for him.
Well, here we go. It looks like these guys are going to get the decision. We wait for it to drop on our screens. Two absolute titans. Slide it left for Heinen and right for James Dean. Laurie Heinen gets the win and takes James Dean out of top 16. Heinen advances to the top 8, and look what it means to that young man who has had heartbreak all season, and the Finnish fans erupt in the grandstands. Jacob, what a day at Riga this is so far.
Yeah, it is outstanding. It's just, oh man, as you said, I feel like we got spoiled early.
Well, Laurie is down there at trackside, and he's with Becky Evans. Becky is having the time of his life right now.
Lowry, I think I speak for all of us in the grandstands and at Drift Masters. That was an incredible masterclass of drifting there. Congratulations on getting through your top 16 battle. How was that for you?
It was scary. No lying, that was scary. Like, I gave all I got, and I want to thank everybody who believed in us. We had a hard season, and people who stood by us. Thank you. We are back.
Thank you so much, Lowry, and congratulations.
Wow, scary.
Yeah,
scary.
I get it.
Scary, but he looks unfazed.
Yeah, adoring James Dean through outside zone 1. Yeah, that's kind of the definition of scary.
Scary, yeah. Well, I tell you what, we are getting a heated top 8, that's for sure. If you thought about leaving us this afternoon, don't go anywhere, because this championship is about to get into a bit of a head spin, Jacob, this afternoon.
Yeah, it's, oh man. I'm gonna need another Red Bull.
You need a break. There's no more breaks. No more breaks.
We just go.
We've got Red Bull on tap. We are ready to rock and roll, and we are moving it straight along to the next battle. It's going to be Kevin Pascoli to take on Jakub Przgonski, and this one going to be a tongue twister for me, so I already apologise in advance. The Hungarian to take on the Polishman, and I'll tell you right now, Kevin Pascoli is on an absolute mission this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. He's looked so good all the way through, but that being said, Kuba is just a monster unleashed.
Well, he's came out the cage.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about it all year. We've always saying, unlock the cage, let the beast out, because it is in there. But unfortunately, Jakub Przgonski just struggles every now and then to get that beast out of the cage and put it out on circuit. Well, here we go. We get the green light to go. It's going to be Pascoli to lead out Przgonski as they fire in. And this is what we wanted to see. Przgonski down on the door of Pascoli. Pascoli fires that car into outside zone 2. A nice lead line so far. Both guys shallow up the angle as they fire into outside zone 5, and almost contact on the transition. Przgonski's not messing around. He goes for it once again, but look at that entry into that final outside zone from Pascoli. He's dialed in. He's on the door. He's on the wall. But Przgonski's with him.
Both drivers have just unlocked another level. I mean, Kuba's chase game has always been amazing, but he had this habit of holding back and just not risking the car, and that's completely gone. And with that, I mean, Pascoli is he's just an animal right now. He's so fast, he's so aggressive through every transition, and I mean, it does allow for a great chase there from Kuba, who look at the dive in, going for that really tight transition, bumper to bumper. Man, we are just getting treat after treat.
That transition from Jakub Przgonski before outside zone 5. Look at this inside the car. We can see him wheeling away, and a little dab of the handbrake slows that car down. You could see Pascoli's car come into focus, and he's like, boom, and they transition again, get back on the door in that final outside zone. Very good driving from Jakub Przgonski, but the lead line from Kevin Pascoli is phenomenal once again.
Yeah, it's super great, and yeah, it's just another epic battle that we get to see this early on in the event. So we'll see how the judges want to stack everything up and how they feel about it, but we get to see it one more time with the roles reversed and see how Kuba does out front in the lead. Can he keep that beast on a leash and not go too crazy? And will Pascoli try the same sort of committed transition that we saw out of Kuba?
Well, yeah, he's going to have to come out here, absolutely swing it. Yeah, full throttle. Look at this.
That seems to be it. Is full
throttle transitions? Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, Kevin Pascoli, this brand new GR86, a new car, a new engine platform for 2026 seems to be the absolute key. But he's on the line to chase down Jakub Przgonski now in another GR86, a B58 powered one this time, almost similar power. But what can they do with the driving talent behind? Look at Pascoli, chucks it straight down on the inside, and no messing around. He initiates before Jakub Przgonski as they fire into that second outside zone. Pascoli has to adjust his line and give him some room as now Pascotti needs to make a dive down to outside zone 5, and he does. And he waits for the transition, but it's too early, and he has to make a correction. Pascotti on that perfect lead line as he puts the back bumper towards the wall. Now Pascotti tucks into formation.
Kuba's still on it. He's still in the zone.
Yep.
He's still driving like a madman. And yeah, I'm not sure for Kevin if it all came together for him in the chase. We'll see on initiation if anything weird happened. Looked pretty clean. Just looked like yeah, Pascotti is just caught up a little bit on the inside through a lot of it. And I think Kuba's car is just so fast.
Yeah.
It's really, really quick, but they still have made it very drivable, where he doesn't seem to be fighting the car a lot. Can see him working the left foot brake, coming off throttle, on throttle, but he's not grabbing the handbrake through the transitions.
No, Kevin Pascotti kind of out of formation. You can see it outside zone 1. He wasn't really tucked up on the inside. He was kind of out of the zone a little bit there, trying to chase down Jakub Pascotti. And then once he'd given Pascotti that room to maneuver, he kind of, you know, he couldn't get it back. He couldn't make a dive to claim it back, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just a wild battle, but we'll see how the judges feel about the whole thing.
Yeah, certainly so. So we're going to see that score drop in after we see these beautiful drone shots from Red Bull TV and all the angles, Jacob. The drone never lies as well.
Yeah.
I love the drone shot, especially here outside zone 1 where we can really get above the cars and look straight down. Well, we go, both guys out of the car, nervously awaiting the decision. Who's it going to be? Will it go to Hungary? Will it go to Poland? Slide him left for Pascotti, right for Pascotti. It's one vote for Pascotti. It's going to be Kevin Pascotti. Kevin Pascotti gets the win and advances through to the top 8. David Kalas, we're going to quickly jump to you. That was swinging in the favour of Pascotti. You see something from Pascotti you didn't like?
Yeah, we need to start with the first run where Kuba was having really nice proximity. However, he was taking a lot of compromises. He was cutting every zone. He was having smaller angle to get into that proximity. That is opening door for the opponent to have possibility to attack back. And then we will switch around. And as we were saying, we will be looking a lot on the deceleration. And there is no deceleration zone at outer zone 5. And we saw over rotation and left foot braking a lot from Kuba at outer zone 5, which made life of the chaser way harder, and that's why he ended up in the wrong position coming to the outer zone 6. So we did not count that mistake as a mistake of the chaser, but of the leader, and that sealed the deal.
Thank you very much, David. And that's why you guys are judges. Yep. And me and Jacob are just mere drift fans.
We just got caught up in the hype.
We did. And
Yep.
hey, listen, I'm a fan of drifting.
Yep.
If there's drifting, I'm watching it, I'm a fan. Especially Drift Masters. Here we go. We are going back down to the start line. Look at this. Kevin Pascotti. I'm not sure last time he was in a top 8. But it was many moons ago, and well, could he get himself close to a final this weekend? We go back on the line to 2 Irishmen to go head-to-head. Connor Falvey to take on Dwayne McKeever. The higher qualifier, Falvey opted to chase first.
Yeah, super interesting on that front. And these drivers only seeing action against each other one time, and it was here in 2024.
Yeah, there we go.
Rookie year.
Rookie year.
Yeah, imagine your rookie year, Dwayne McKeever in Riga.
Yeah, and there we go. Off the start line we go. Dwayne McKeever to lead out Connor Falvey as the 2JZ 180SX leads out the 2JZ S15. They fire in. Connor Falvey gives McKeever some room to manoeuvre. Tucks out on the inside, looks for the transition back. McKeever on a nice lead line. Falvey on the inside there, shortcut in the circuit. Whoa, wow, Falvey out of nowhere. Oh, McKeever hits the curb and DBs the tyre. He's going to stay in it, but can he hold on? He just about finds outside zone 6, and this is making life incredibly hard for Falvey as they just about crawl across the line.
Was it only one tire? I wouldn't be shocked if it was 2. Falvey with a little bit of concern there, checking the car out, making sure everything is still good to go, and there is that tire from Dwayne. That is exited stage left. So let's see this one more time. Dwayne looked like he was on an incredible line there through 1, just dipping to the edge of it. Falvey trying to keep up, cutting a lot of line through 2, and Dwayne is just on a, man, he's got so much speed, but starts to overshoot, and that line is always going to end in a bad time.
I mean, the pace that Dwayne McKeever had from outside zone 1 to outside zone 5 was incredible. And you could see Falvey struggling to keep up with Dwayne McKeever, shortcutting a little bit, carrying that shallow angle. And McKeever earlier on, we had that interview with him, and he said the amount of grip he has this weekend is immense. Look at that. Oh, it's destroyed that wheel and that tyre completely off.
Look how
on
hot
the inside.
the wheel is. The wheel itself is smoking. Oh man, still held together though.
Still held together, and I mean those strong wheels doing good work. Even though getting hit on a curb flat out on the back of that 180SX, and you can see how much it affected Falvey in that chase. Just couldn't slow down.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough go, but man, I feel like Falvey got it just a little bit of luck on that one. He wasn't in a bad spot. He just wasn't in a great one, and Dwayne just went pretty wide.
I think the pace from McKeever was unbelievable. Yeah, like we say, he had that interview earlier on, Jacob. He said he couldn't get rid of the grip. He said he had too much grip. And it was playing into his hands at one point there in the first half of that battle.
It seemed like the car just washed that little bit wide through that section, and that was all it was.
Yeah, certainly so. So there we go. Packed out grandstands, a sold out Latvia here this weekend in Riga, and a massive thank you to everyone that's come out to support Drift Masters. We move to the penultimate round in just 3 weeks' time. We head to the Iron City in Germany.
Is that all it is 3 weeks?
Yeah.
This is like, it feels like back to back to back. I mean, Finland was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow, it really...
Listen, the circus is in town and it's travelling, and we're getting through the rounds now, and the championship starts to heat up. Yeah, the penultimate round at the Iron City in Ferropolis. We go under the lights to see who will win that event before we head to PGA Narodowy in Warsaw, in the capital of Poland, for the Red Bull Drift Masters finale, where we have all the bits are going on. We have to make this an official decision, ladies and gentlemen. It will be Connor Falvey taking the win and advancing through to the top 8. Obviously, Dwayne McKeever, we have no 5-minute rules here, no changing of tyres, and that DB does knock Dwayne McKeever out of battle. Becky is down in the paddock with a man, unfortunately, out of competition. He looked very dejected earlier on. Becky's with Connor Shanahan.
Connor, not the way you wanted Riga to go for you. Can you give us a little insight into how you're feeling right now?
Yeah, just pretty simple. Didn't drive good enough, and when that happens, it's frustrating, but at least we had a fair shot at it. I felt good at times this weekend, but I don't know, today I just couldn't really release the negative energy. I just couldn't get into a good rhythm, a good mindset, and it's hard when it's like that. It's hard to lock in, and small mistake on entry was actually what cost me a lot of the run. I went inside, couldn't get back in the right place in the first transition, and yeah, Randalou was strong. I knew he was going to chase drive strong. I always say Randalou is one of the only drivers I think in this grid who can sometimes pull off the transitions, what I tried to pull off myself. So he's a really good chase driver, and it was always going to be a good battle, and Connor didn't deliver. I'm sorry to everybody who was believing in me, and yeah, I think pretty much the race is not over, but it's not going to be easy to try climb back to the top right now, but it is what it is. We move on. Thanks to my team, my sponsors, everybody who makes this happen, and hopefully we can get back in a good rhythm in Germany.
Brilliant. Thanks for your insight, Connor. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, very dejected Connor Shanahan there. The race isn't over. It's never over.
No.
It's never over. And we don't know what's going to happen this afternoon because we still have a fair few battles to go. Yeah, Jacob, we have one more battle in our top 16 to get through, and that is, of course, Jarkko Juhla to take on Sim Oscar Hall. Jarkko Juhla in that Toyota Chaser X100 to take on Oscar Hall in that Toyota GT86. I mean, place your bets.
Yeah, place your bets. I mean, both of them seem to be on it, so see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, let's see how this one plays out. Finland versus Estonia. We know the Estonians are behind their drivers this evening. Look at this from Oscar Hall as he fires it down. An interesting technique on initiation, but it works for him as Jarkko Juhla gets around outside zone 1 and now on a real nice line to outside zone 4, but there's no shaking the young Estonian as he comes through the smoke and makes that dive as Jarkko Juhla gets outside zone 5 and dives into that final outside zone. Sim Oscar Hall onto the door, looks for that proximity, jumps up onto the side of the Toyota and across the line.
Yeah, just a continuation of what we saw in top 32 for both of them. Jarkko Juhla looking really, really good out in the lead. And for Sim Oscar Hall, he's aggressive. He's very, very aggressive and still within control. So often we find with young drivers that drive with this kind of much emotion, they'll bite off a bit more than they can chew. They make kind of silly mistakes. For Sim, I'm not really seeing that here. He's still in the pocket through a lot of it, but he's not making strange dives and not doing anything too weird. So he's got a lot of patience in the transition. Jarkko Juhla looks really, really good out front. See maybe a bit too much on the inside, but he kind of takes advantage of that, sinks back into place through zone 6. Not sure if we hang on long enough. You can see he's way out of there and then uses some left foot brake. He really gets on the brake there and gets that car to sink back in. So right in here, that's a really tough move to pull off, but does it really, really well.
He does it really well. He had a really nice lead from Jarkko Ulla though to chase down, and you can see him there tucking in onto the door, gaining that proximity and that final outside zone. Jarkko Ulla though seems to be on flying form this weekend, qualifying in 6th. Seems to be really enjoying the circuit. We now swap him around and we're going to ask Oscar Hull to lead out Jarkko Ulla. Ulla knows what he needs to do. Can he follow that same form? Can he get that proximity as they come off the line? See him, Oscar Hull, through the gears to initiation, the young Estonian, the wildcard driver this weekend. Could he get himself into the top 8? Nice initiation, flicks that car, but wanders out of that first outside zone. A groan from the judges in the background as Jarkko Ulla gives him the room to manoeuvre. And Sim Oscar Hull now looks for that wide line and starts to feel the pressure of Drift Masters. He goes deep into outside zone 5, but that opens the door once again for Jarkko Ulla, but he doesn't take the opportunity. And the Finnish driver needs to make a move here in that final outside zone, and he just does just across the line.
See how this plays out. I mean, Sim is very fast, and he does get a bit too aggressive through outside zone 1. So a couple of little mistakes creeping in, and we'll keep an eye on this because the judge is already looking for replays. So this is what I mean. In and out a little bit through zone 1, transition to zone 2 looks good. Jarkko Ulla still well within chase. 3 looks fantastic, but he's shallow through 4. And I'm just trying to pick out little stuff right now because, I mean, this kid does seem incredible, but he's not perfect. Still got a few things still to work on. Jarkko Ulla in the chase does a great job of mimicking the line going through, but doesn't have the same proximity. And Rasim, I mean, he's real quick. He is currently leading 3 championships in Europe right now.
Wow.
The Baltic Championship, the Estonian Championship, and what is this, Livonia Championship. So he's got something. This isn't a fluke.
You've been doing some digging, getting some research?
I had to, man. I had to. I also got about 50 DMs telling me all about him. And then a lesson on how to pronounce his name.
Okay. Don't tell me we're saying it wrong.
It's Sim.
Sim.
Okay. Yeah.
Our apologies to Sim Oscar Hull.
Hey, we're still learning.
We're still learning, and we're learning this guy as well. Here we go. Slide him left for Sim Oscar Hull, or slide him right for Jarkko Ulla. And it's going to be Sim Oscar Hull making his way into the top 8. And my words couldn't even come out there. The surprise, but I'm not surprised. It was an incredible chase and a good lead. Jarkko Ulla just not being able to hang on to the young Estonian. Wow. What a weekend for this young man here at Drift Masters.
We've seen it though. This place will bring out the best in these young drivers, right? We talked about Nick Nack and what he looked like for years. There's been so many drivers that have come here and done incredible things, and then this is their biggest thing. But either way, what a driver.
What a driver. I want to hear from him. I want to hear how he's feeling now. He's into the top 8, and Becky's with him trackside.
Absolutely, guys. This is turning out to be a dream weekend for Sim Oscar. Sim, you're pretty cool, calm, and collected, but can you tell us what's going through your mind right now?
Like I didn't know what the track's gonna be. Luckily, my friend Oliver drove before me, so he said it's quite the same as last time. So I know what to do with the setup. So yeah, this run was kind of messy, but I will clean it up for next one.
Absolutely, and do you have a message for your Estonian fans out here that are absolutely behind you?
Aitäh, et tulite kaasa elama! Woo!
Exactly that. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Becky. Well, whatever he said, it got him pumped up, that's for sure, Jacob, and they're cheering. And it was a woo, that's for sure, because this young man is having an incredible weekend here. He's into the top 8, but does he have a heavy hitter to go against next? Here we go. This is our top 8. Looks up. Benedictus Gerber will take on Peter Viensek. There'll be Laurie Heinlein to take on Pavel Korpolinski, another big championship contender right there. Pascoli will take on Randaloo, and then it will be Connor Falvey to take on yet another young gun in Sim Oscar Hull.
Wow, I mean, championship implications, more battles of the young guns, rookies coming in and just disrupting the apple cart. What a weekend, and we still have so much more to go.
Well, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Top 16. Sorry. It's time for top 8. I'm sorry.
We're so excited.
I'm so excited. My brain is turned into mashed potato because what a weekend it has been here this weekend. From qualifying to right now, everything has been wild, Jacob.
I mean, listen, no driver gets 100% on every qualifying run. We can't expect you to be perfect.
I scored a 4 today. Well, here we go. We're going to move things on with our top 8. It's going to be Peter Wieniec to take on Benediktus Scherber. Another heavy-hitting battle. This is why I'm so excited, because all of these battles now are so important. Wieniec wants to take the championship lead as he leaves Riga, but can he do it? He's got Benediktus Scherber that has found the form in the last few rounds in a brand new car as Wieniec fires in the A90 Supra. Scherber can't find the pace and he understeers off the track. Wow, Scherber cannot hang with Wieniec, and just as I praise him, he falls at the first hurdle against Wieniec. Wieniec fires into that final outside zone and sets that car up lovely as we see Scherber in the background just trying to hold on, and we nearly see Scherber in a huge accident.
I'm just grateful that he was able to pull out of that, because the amount of speed that he came through that section with, if he would have gone even a few meters further, that would have just been devastating. Scherber just trying to keep up the pace with Piotr, who's got this initiation so dialed in. Look at this. On it and just on throttle immediately. Scherber tries to go through it, gets lost in the smoke. You can see him here just not able to find the grip, just missing the tire barrel.
That was so close.
Yeah. That was very, very close to being a sore tomorrow morning for Benediktus Scherber.
And just when we give him the praise, Benediktus Scherber just can't hang. Oh, man. That was so close.
And then he just back into it, though. So one thing I love about Scherber, he will not give up.
His mindset, yeah. He's not going to give up because he doesn't know what's going to happen. And you never know. Wieniec could break down, not complete the run. And Scherber does get himself into that final outside zone, but he'll be driving angry now on that lead position.
This is the 9th battle between the two of them, and out of this, 4 of them have been at this track. I don't know how that happens, considering their first battle was back in 2017. But yeah, for some reason, these two just like to go at it at this track.
Yeah, they certainly do. Well, here we go. We're getting some trackside repairs here from Marcin and his team down there. Looks like the duct tape and the screws could be out, that's for sure, as they try to repair the back end of that BMW and get Benediktus Scherber back out in the lead position to lead out Peter Wieniec. So
getting fast at it.
They are getting very good at this.
Yeah.
Plenty of practice this season.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're practicing for Poland and Germany as well.
They're going to need it. I mean, it's you see pit crews test. They do the same thing. They just take their rental cars and just throw tape on them.
Tape on them, yeah.
Yeah, we get full insurance though, so don't worry.
Well, there we go. Wieniec will be getting the word from his spot in the tower saying, look, he threw it off the track at that first outside zone. You don't need to go too hard, but this is Wieniec at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, for Scherber right now, you just hope everything underneath the car is good, but you're going to have to throw it in big and hope that Piotr has a very, very rare mistake. It can happen, though. It's happened so many different times. Strange things happen. You just kind of hope for it.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, there we go. We get the thumbs up all round. It will be Wieniec to chase down Benediktus Scherber for a spot in the final 4. Awaits for one of these drivers as they get the green light to go. They're off the line, and Scherber now driving angry as he comes through the gears. Looks for that big flick to initiation. He does get it done. The bumper now already hanging off the back of that car, but it doesn't phase Peter Wieniec as he dives through the smoke, and he won't let Scherber get away, that's for sure. As they go deep on outside zone 4, through the smoke comes Wieniec as they both fire on more angle at outside zone 5. Scherber gets himself set up for outside zone 6, and look at this from Wieniec, tucked in onto the door, into the pocket and across the line.
Piotr does not need to push that hard. No, not even a little bit, but he's using this like sparring practice now.
Look at this as well. First bit of emotion we've seen from Wieniec inside the car for a long time.
This is very, very true, because this is, again, the championship. This is him picking up some more points, realizing he's taking this fight even deeper. He's going to push it. You know, there's potential that he can take the lead in the championship this round. It could happen, but he knows that every single win that he gets, every lap that goes flawlessly, is just one more towards the finals and one more towards potentially another championship.
Yeah, exactly that. So there we go. Let's take a look back at these shots. Look at Wieniec, that car dialed in this weekend. A mistake there from Scherber as well as he gets to outside zone 5. Watch, he sets the car up, dials on a little bit more angle, and you can see Wieniec has to deal with that, then makes a dive down in outside zone 6.
He's doing a great job though. Interesting to see the setup for Piotr. Doesn't seem like he's got a ton of self-steer in the car, but just a little bit. The steering wheel looks light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just kind of barely grasping it, so a lot of power steering pressure in it. He just wants to just barely feel that car.
Benedictus Gerber just saying there to Peter, well done, congratulations. And Peter Viensek's words to him was, well, let's just wait and see.
Very humble.
Very humble. Yeah, and here we go, slalom left for Gerber, right for Viensek. And it's going to be unanimous. It's going to be Peter Viensek getting the win, advancing through to the final four. Unfortunately, we lose the Lithuanian Benedictus Gerber, but what an incredible drive. He's still smiling.
Still smiling.
Still smiling. Good to see a smile on the face of Benedictus Gerber, that's for sure.
Serious but happy.
Serious but happy.
Oh man, yeah, and this is not, you know, Triba didn't quite get the luck he was hoping for on this one, but he's one of those drivers you look at and you go, man, I can see you being a champion one day.
Exactly, there we go. Well, Becky's down there trackside with a very happy Benedictus Gerber, even though he just got knocked out.
Guys, there's still a big smile on his face, but I was just chatting to Benedictus there, and he's literally got dirt in his mouth. Benedictus, that was a bit of a rallycross move there. We're glad to see that you managed to collect it, but how was that for you?
Now I'm happy because car is still in one piece because it's near the big crash. I don't know. Piotr, it's very fast in initiation. I lost front understeer and go out, but somehow in one piece.
Well, we're delighted that you're in one piece and you got a big smiling face. We'll see you in Germany. Thank you, Benedictus.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Acho!
Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a very smiley Benedictus Gerber, and we certainly will see him in Germany, where he'll be back, reset, and ready for action. And look at this, a thumbs up, and look at this again, some more reaction from Viensek. I like this. Because he's very calculated, he doesn't let the emotion out. It's good to see a smile on his face, good to see how he's feeling. We go back on the line to a big one for the championship. It is, of course, your championship points leader, Pavel Korpolinski, and he has been asked to lead out Laurie Heinen, the higher qualifier. Heinen up there in 4th place in qualifying, says to Pavel Korpolinski, you lead first. Yeah. You want a championship, I've been there, I've done it, I've won it. If you want it, work for it. You lead first.
Yeah, it worked for him on the last one. You might as well do it now, and I think this tyre battle is starting to come into play.
It certainly is. Well, here we go. We get the green light to go, and this one is going to be big for the championship points right now, especially with Viensek into the final four. They hammer through the gears. Korpolinski flicks that car in, and look at this from Heinen, and textbook once again. He's on the door of Pavel Korpolinski as he fires that car to transition. They come down to outside zone 4, and there's no shaking the Finnish driver as he almost takes the back end off of Korpolinski's car. Laurie Heinen not making any wrong moves right now as they both get into that final outside zone. Laurie Heinen needs that proximity as he jumps up onto the door across the line.
Just keep the pressure on is Laurie Heinen. He is trying to win from the chase through so much of this. He's kind of intimidating. Yep. He's pushing hard. Pavel Korpolinski seems to have kind of moved back into that calculated lead run again. Doesn't want to get too wild. Doesn't want to throw away anything by going too crazy. Great line through 1 for both drivers. Pavel Korpolinski pretty quick through 2, nailing that inside 3. And look at Laurie Heinen. He's trying to intimidate. You can tell he's kind of fighting in the mirrors and trying to. He doesn't make a lot of contact or push him around, but he's just very, very aggressive. But Korpolinski, calm, cool, collected. Great lead run here, and yeah, it's going to be interesting when we swap this around, because I feel like Laurie's got a ton more pace in this car. Yeah. And Pavel's car is just easy to drive right now. Will he be able to keep up in the chase? Only time will tell. But for right now, it's a clean first run for both drivers.
It certainly is a first clean run for both drivers, and I think this chasing first. If you're the higher qualifier, I think he's doing something. I think he's got the tyre then to try and drive away from Korpolinski. Korpolinski, as we say, not really putting too many feet wrong in that lead position, but the pressure from Laurie Heinen in the chase is just unbelievable.
Well, are you gonna outstyle Laurie? Are you gonna out aggressive Laurie? Probably not. You can out clean drive him.
Yep, you can. Yep, that is for sure. Well, here we go. They're back on the line. Heinen to lead out Korpolinski for a spot in the final 4 to take on Peter Viensek. And the Polishman would love to take on Viensek to try and claw some more points, but he's got to get through the Finnish driver right now as Laurie Heinen fires that 1.8 ESX in, and he's up and gone. And you can see Pavel Korpolinski down on the inside, trying to find the proximity, trying to find the door of the Finnish driver's cars. They go deep onto outside zone 4. What can Korpolinski do as he goes to make a dive at outside zone 5? Heinen is dialed in on the zone. Korpolinski, the surgeon, back into it, cleanly dives onto the door in that final outside zone, but it's unbelievable from Heinen.
Tough. Very, very tough to start picking this apart. I think Laurie's got a fair bit of pace still in that, and Korpolinski in the chase just couldn't keep up with it in a lot of spots, but Yeah, it's still very, very comparable when you start to match this up. Korpolinski just, he's really trying, but Lowry is just so fast. But Lowry wide on 3, does a good job through 4. So it's that classic battle of one had a better lead, the other had the better chase, and it'll be the collection of mistakes that ends up becoming the deciding factor here for these drivers. Either way, one of these two is going to go up against Piotr Vincek, and that's just, it's one of those, out of the oven into the fire?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to get any easier for either of them.
No, it certainly isn't. And I tell you what, Peter Vincek will be watching on this battle saying, who have I got to take on next? Who do I have to battle to get into that final? And I tell you what, Peter will be saying, I don't really want to battle either of these guys. I don't want to take on my fellow countrymen, and I certainly don't want to take on a very on-form Laurie Heinen. I said he was a dark horse at the beginning of the day. He kind of crept through in qualifying yesterday, unnoticed. No one really noticed the score, but today he's making moves. They're out of the car, Heinen and Pavel Korpolinski. Slide it left for Heinen and right for Korpolinski, who's taking it through, and no one's taking it through. It's a split decision. We're going to go one more time to decide who takes it through to the final 4. Korpolinski there looks a little shaken.
I think he thought he had this, and then, now it's just a bit of concern. So, wow, that is a little nerve-wracking for Korpolinski.
Yeah, I haven't seen that reaction from Korpolinski for a while there. He jumps out of the car, and you see, as soon as that decision dropped in, he was a little shaken. And the only good thing for Laurie Heinen is he is getting so many runs on this circuit, so many one more times, so many battles. He now is getting better and better at that lead and chase.
Yeah, extra battle with James, and now an extra battle with Powell, and it's going to be tough for anybody else who's got to drive with him. But we have to move on.
We certainly do have to move on. We're going to go back down to the back end of the grid for our next battle in our top 8, and it's going to be Oliver Randalou to take on Kevin Pascolti. And Kevin Pascolti, the higher qualifier, opting to lead first. And it worked for him last time. It's strange how different drivers are making this work.
Yeah.
From one half of the grid to the other.
Yeah, there's some strategy for sure, but go with the one that's working for you.
Yeah, certainly so. Oliver Randalou, Connor Shanahan said he's the only guy that can kind of match the style. Well, can he bring out the style right now? Can he bring out the flair? He has to do it in the chase position. He has to be up onto the door of that 2JZ powered Toyota GR86 as they both sit on the line ready to rock and roll. The arm restraints adjusted, the handbrake tested, and the car's into gear. They get the green light to go. It's Pascolti to lead out Randalou for a spot in the final 4. Awaits for one of these drivers. Pascolti hasn't been here for a long time. What can he do right now as he puts that GR86 in to that first outside zone? But look at Randalou tucked up onto the inside already as he now starts to turn the screw and look for the side of Pascolti's GR86 once again. Oh, it's a bumper-to-bumper transition, but it catches Oliver Randalou out, and he's misplaced now as Kevin Pascolti gets himself into outside zone 6. Puts the back bumper towards the wall. That opens the door for Randalou, but it's a big mistake for Randalou.
Yeah, gets himself way out of sorts in the chase, and I'm not sure where it all started to go wrong, but he really did get caught out too far on the inside, and I think it's just the aggression. Look at this. Man, it's a bad day to be the knees of Randalou. But Pascolti looks really good out front, but Randalou's just trying to push the pace. He's just really in the pocket. Looks like he over-angles a bit, is able to get the transition. Oh, he doesn't get the transition done fast enough. Doesn't get back on the throttle.
Pascolti made a mistake on the transition as well.
Okay.
From that camera angle, from the drone, you can see it. Watch, look.
Oh, you're right.
Doesn't go wide and kind of does an almost straight line approach to outside zone 5.
Yeah.
Watch this from Randalou, from Pascolti. Look, doesn't go wide.
You're right, and then it's got to push it out to it.
And that messes up the transition from Randalou.
I think you're right, sir. Yeah, this is pretty big.
Look where Randalou's position is, and he says, "Whoa, where are you going?" Has to adjust and then drop on the inside, and that really messes up Oliver Randalou's chase.
Yeah, what do we call it? The make-believe zone?
The make-believe zone. Yeah, Jack Shanahan recreating outside zone 5. Call it the make-believe zone.
Yeah, but it's kind of that zone between 4 and 5, and what's expected of you, the ideal line between the two. It just it was not there for Pascolti, and that meant that Randalou had nowhere to go.
Yeah, judges still deliberating this one. We're back on the line, ready to go for the second half of the battle. Randalou now to lead out Kevin Pascolti. Pascolti with that mistake. Randalou probably doesn't know that unless he's been on the radio to the spotters as he hammers through the gears in that M50 Turbo BMW E46. He flicks it in to that first outside zone and fulfills it all, but Pascolti can't seem to find the side. Now makes a dive at outside zone 2 as Pascolti tries to tuck up on the inside. Randalou on a flyer though, and the back end once again abused by another driver as Pascolti Pascalti flexes the back end of that BMW. Now Pascalti's out of position as Oliver Randalou fulfills all of outside zone 6 with a bumper on the wall across the line.
Yeah, Randalou back with a vengeance on that one. Maybe thought he was down and that, you know, that mistake was all his, but he came out of the gate super fast and very, very aggressive. And for Pascalti, he just couldn't really keep up with that pace. He was doing his best, made a couple of dives here through the transition between 1 and 2, but Randalou is just on another level right now. He is driving real angry, but still accurate. It's easy to get the emotions to overcome you and you start doing something silly, but Randalou's just harnessed it into an incredible lead run.
God, the grip in Randalou's car as he goes from inside zone 3 to outside zone 4. Free wheels, look at that, free wheels once again there on that transition. That car is wicked up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Putting down a ton of traction. I mean, we know that this chassis is known for that trailing arm design and the amount of grip that it can make, and if you set those cars up right, there is almost nothing faster.
Unbelievable lead there from Oliver Randalou and Kevin Pascalti. Well, he witnessed it firsthand in that chase position, and Oliver Randalou hyping himself up. You're taking a look over at the judges. They're still looking back at replays there, Jacob.
Spending a lot of time taking a look at this, having some discussion. Their results are in. Often they'll put the results in and then have a little chat about it once everything's been submitted.
Well, here we go. The Hungarian fans have the flags flying, and
they are.
The Estonian fans are making even more noise. Who's it going to be? Look at this, two nervous drivers. Slide them left for Randalou, right for Pascalti. It's going to be Kevin Pascalti. Kevin Pascalti gets the win and takes out Oliver Randalou. David Kalas, we're going to have to quickly come to you. Not the way that I thought it was going.
Yeah, on the first glance, we saw amazing proximity from Oliver Randalou. He was able to be very close to Kevin. Unfortunately, it all comes to area after Autozone 4, so after second corner, where when they're coming to that very difficult Autozone 5, there are two big mistakes. One big mistake coming to the Autozone 5, now you can see it, and then second mistake coming to the Autozone 6. Those two were not caused by the leader, so that sealed the deal for Oliver.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much, David. And yeah, mate, I mean, hey, that's why I'm just a drift fan and commentator, and we have those guys in the tower that know exactly what they're doing. And our judges, as always this weekend, David Kalas, Tomo Levi Maggi, and Rasmo Rias and Chris Witowski on the EVS, our fourth replay judge. We're back on the line, Connor Valvey to take on Sim Oscar Hall. And I mean,
yeah, you said it perfectly.
I kind of want to sit back and watch this as a drift fan, but that's not my job.
We do have to do some work,
That's not my job. So I have to somehow explain how this is going to go down. Connor Falvey, the higher qualifier, opting to chase first.
Yeah. I think you've got the most exciting young drivers out of their respective regions going head-to-head in Latvia.
We certainly have, but Connor Falvey's been in this position before and he has got himself into the Final Four. He's even got himself into the final, but Sim Oscar Hall, this is extra time for him right now as he fires that car into that first outside zone. A little wander. Falvey gives him the room to manoeuvre as Sim Oscar Hall now starts to find that perfect qualifying line. He goes deep on 4, but there's no shaking Falvey. Falvey absolutely blows the back end off of that GT86 on transition. He gets himself back into it once again as Sim Oscar Hall sets himself up lovely in that final outside zone, but there's no shaking the Irishman.
Yeah, Connor Falvey's given it everything. He knows he has to. He would have watched the way that Sim was driving and known, okay, I can push 100% against this kid. I can drive at 10/10 the entire way. I can push a lot of transitions as deep as I need to, and the kid's not going to back down, and that's exactly what we saw here. Sim going a bit wide through 3, and then through this transition here, Falvey does hold him up.
He does hold him up, yeah.
Sim, though, he's just back on it, and transitions out to, transitions out to 5. We'll maybe see it through here, and yeah, Connor would have just been caught up a bit too aggressive on that chase, but neither driver backs down. This is just a good old-fashioned head-to-head battle of two young guns who are out here to prove a big point.
They certainly are. I'm just trying to see if it did upset the line. It did hold him up, but he did manage to get a nice slide into outside zone 5 regardless.
Might have held him up enough to make sure he hit the correct line, to be honest. Falvey might have done him a bit of a favor. It's not usually how the judges look at things, but but for Siem, it kind of held him from transitioning a bit too early.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, here we go, back down on the start line. Falvey pulls into that lead position, and start line marshal Marcin now has on his shirt and his Latvian dicky bow tie.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is, yep. Every time we come to Latvia, he puts on the dicky bow. Well, here we go. The light goes green. Siem Oscar Hull knows what he needs to do to take down Falvey. He needs to be clean, but he needs to be calculated. Falvey needs to be aggressive, and he is aggressive as he fires that car in. So that first outside zone fulfills it perfectly. Siem Oscar Hull bursts through the smoke as Falvey catches a little wobble of understeer, but makes it work as he looks for the transition for 5. There's no shaking the young Estonian, though, as he gets on it once again.
Oh!
And now Siem Oscar Hull goes for the dive. Oh! And a mistake from the Estonian as Falvey puts it to the wall and across the line.
They gave Connor Falvey every single bit of this car. They went everything. They cranked all the dials, they changed all the pressures. They just went, here is everything this car has, and we just hope it holds together by the end. I've never seen him drive this fast, and they needed to set it up this way to go against Siem. And I'm sure for Falvey, he knew that transition would have been a big deduction for him. But look at this, through 3, just grabbing that outside edge of it, and that looks good. But Falvey's car is so fast out through 5, and for Siem, big dive into 6, a beautiful dive. And the question now is going to be, did Falvey get on throttle early enough? The judges are taking a big look at the beginning of 6, and I think that is the biggest part of this. There is a decel zone that is allowed before it, and it's going to be whether or not he lit off the tires just before it.
Well, we're going to see it from this camera angle right here. He's on the handbrake. I can't see it right there. Couldn't see the rear wheels. I'm not sure. I wonder if Siem Oscar Hull came in a little too hot, but we're going to see it. A big angle there from Falvey on the outside zone. I mean, if he was on throttle maybe a little late, it was ever so slightly a little bit late. Falvey there fulfilling all of that final outside zone. Both guys out of the car. Who is going to get the decision? Will it go to Ireland? Will it go to Finland? Side of left for Falvey, right for Hull. It's going to be Connor Falvey! Connor Falvey gets the win, advances through to the final 4, and it's a unanimous decision. Jacob, I can see you there. You want to do some explaining?
Yeah, I got my pen ready.
You got your pen ready? You were going to do some explaining down there?
I got a quick word there from the judges. So we do have that decel zone that is available to the drivers. So we'll keep this going, and we'll stop it just as we get into 6. Right about there, that's perfect. That cone right here is where they need to be back on throttle, and Falvey is basically just getting the wheels spinning as he goes into it. So it's at the very last moment, but it is just enough for him to do it. And for Siem, he's so aggressive at this point. He's made a great dive. It's a beautiful play.
Yeah.
I like the way that he does it. This is going to give you a great angle of it. Connor Falvey looks awesome through here. There's the 1 cone. We can stop it whenever you'd like. Perfect. And yeah, that's the cone there. That's going to delineate exactly when they need to go on. Falvey was just getting the tires lit off as he comes through. For Siem, he's right there. There's zero difference between the two of them. I mean, he's basically on his door. Connor Falvey's on full lock. He's able to get that car to come around. But for Siem, he just couldn't hang with the massive angle coming out of Falvey.
Well, he had a lot of speed as well coming into that. I tell you what, I do want to say for Siem Oscar Hull, we would love to see him back here at Drift Masters, and we'd open our arms to him back into another round, because what an incredible young man the Estonian should walk away from this weekend with his head held high. We are back on the line with our one more time battle between Laurie Heinen and Pavel Korpolinski. Heinen opting to chase first again.
I like it.
I mean, it's kind of working for him, kinda.
You're accustomed to it now.
Yeah.
You know what to expect. Why change it up?
Well, this is for the last spot in Final 4. Who's going to take it through to the Final 4? It's almost set. Will it be Laurie Heinen? Will Pavel Korpolinski keep the championship alive? Or will Peter Wiensek start to pull some more points at the top end of the table? The light goes green, and they fire away from the start line as Pavel Korpolinski leads out Laurie Heinen, and he knows he's going to be on his door, and he's on his back bumper already as Heinen aggressive straight onto the side of Pavel Korpolinski's Nissan. They fire through those 2 outside zones, and now they look for outside zone 4, where Heinen loses some ground, but he claws it back in as they go deep on outside zone 5. Heinen looks for the transition. Korpolinski, though, the surgeon is clean out front, and he's getting that clinical job done as he looks for the line and he crosses it.
I think Korpolinski dropped a few pounds of pressure in his tires too.
Yeah.
He's picking up speed again, and maybe realizing that he's got to make sure that that car is as quick as Lowry, especially when it comes to the chase side of things. The upside is it's going to benefit him in the lead too, because he's very quick. You see little touches of left foot brake here and there from Korpolinski. He's not really dragging it a ton. He's using it quite well and makes these small adjustments where he needs to. Lowry is just as aggressive in the chase, but maybe not as much proximity as what we saw on that first battle. It's a little bit more calculated from Lowry and a little more wild from Korpolinski.
Yeah, Korpolinski seems to have, again, maybe took the brain out, left it in the paddock and said, I don't need that for this battle.
I'll pick it up later.
I'll pick that up later when I need it and I need to think about the championship. But against Laurie Heinen, you don't need a brain. You just need to go out there and pedal that car. And Korpolinski, for me, you're right, Jacob. I think he's definitely dialed a little bit more grip into that car, dropped some PSI in those rear tyres, and he's driving a little bit more aggressive this time in the one more time. I think he wants to seal the deal, get it done. He was not happy with that decision.
No, he wasn't. Maybe he felt like he needed to step his game up. So this will be interesting. I don't know if Lowry's already made it back to the line, but once the first driver, it looks like he would have, once the first driver makes it to the line, he is. Yeah. Powell's got 2 minutes to make it up to that starting position. So maybe the car getting a little bit warm. If he did drop tire pressure or he added a bunch of grip into the car, it will load the engine even more. It will warm everything up. Usually drivers are trying to cool the car down when they do that.
Yeah, and I wonder if Pavel Korpolinski was down there on a radio to his spot asking him what he needs to do in that chase. Where was Heinen? How close was he? What proximity did he have? Well, here we go. They're off the line. Heinen, that car jumps up off the tarmac. That V8 screams as he comes down to initiation. Heinen will try to get this job done and get himself in to another final four as Heinen now fulfills all of that first outside zone as Korpolinski now tucks up on the inside. Korpolinski, though, a little mistake there on that transition, but getting the job done. Parts fly.
Oh, no!
And that was the inlet manifold on Laurie Heinen's car that exploded and went over the windscreen. Something came off of Heinen's car on outside zone 4 and into the sky. We're going to take a look back at the replay.
Oh,
and yeah, look at the bonnet. I think the inlet manifold has
That's danger to manifold.
The inlet manifold on Laurie Heinen's car has completely exploded.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We're gonna catch it here in a second, but that...
Oh, wow, yeah, the slow-mo that we have of that, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely unbelievable. Laurie Heinen, look at this.
Oh, my gosh.
Look, completely blown in half.
Can you just lift the hood for us there, Larry, if you can hear us? Why don't we just pop that open?
Yeah,
there you go, sir.
He can hear us down there. Look, he's going to open that bonnet. We're going to get a first... Look at this. The
oh,
inlet
my
manifold
gosh.
completely exploded on the car. And...
That's how much boost he's running. All of it.
Wow, what a shame.
You can even see from that angle, it is just completely gone. Incredible. He went to naturally aspirated real quick.
Well, here we go. We're going to see it in first hand from the drone. Watch this. Watch the bonnet of Laurie Heinen's car as he gets to outside zone 4. Ready? Boom.
There it goes. Some fan just got a souvenir. Oh, another angle of it. Boom.
And I tell you what, Pavel Korpolinski's lucky that never hit his car or made contact with Laurie Heinen, because they're full tilt there outside zone 4, and yeah, that inlet manifold giving up the ghost into that outside zone. And wow, Pavel Korpolinski, look at this, a sigh of relief from Pavel Korpolinski as he pulls up to really get the decision, and it can only go one way, and it's going to be Pavel Korpolinski into the final 4.
Not the way he would have wanted, but a big stress has just dropped from him,
hey,
you can see.
I will tell you something, championships, you need a little bit of luck on your side.
100%.
And I think a little bit of luck has just entered Pavel Korpolinski's weekend when he needed it the most, when he was on the ropes against Laurie Heinen, a very on-form Laurie Heinen.
You need that luck. You ask any champion, they will tell you that they had a lot of luck in that season, and for Korpolinski, this could be the little bit that he is hoping for.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, you can see Laurie Heinen down there and everyone taking a look around the car. And, well, first time we've seen that. Becky's down there with Laurie Heinen. Becky, what a way to exit, but Laurie Heinen's back on form.
Lowry, you were on such a good run. That car was on rails, and suddenly I drove past a little bit of your inlet manifold on the way down here. Can you tell us what happened from your point of view in the driving seat?
Yeah, this was danger to manifold. Yeah. Just I felt on the first corner a little bit loss of power, and then boom on the middle of the run. So nothing I can do, but I'm used to this. So.
You say you're used to this. Does this mean that we're going to see a change to the 180, or are you going to keep the original package?
We have to keep going with this package, but next season will be different.
Any words for your fans out here? There are so many of them behind us here. They're so happy to see you.
Kiitos kaikille, kun olette tukenut meitä. Todella mahtavaa. Aina hieno ajat teille. Kiitos.
Thank you so much, Lowry. Sorry about that. We'll see you in Germany. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, he's used to it. He certainly is used to it by now. He's had a bit of a rough season with the love of that engine, but unfortunately, that's it. And there we go. Look, that inlet manifold.
Oh, wow.
Jacob, look, completely blown apart. And yeah, dangerous manifold.
Yeah, that's he put the tiniest pulley he could find.
On the supercharger for this week, or the pro charger for this weekend. Yeah, unfortunately, Laurie Heinen going to be recovered off the circuit, back into the paddock. It smiles all round, though. It just goes to show you what the potential could have been for Laurie Heinen in 2026. Let's take a look at the heat tree and how things are stacking up. This is your final 4 battles coming up. And it will be Peter Wiensek to take on his fellow countryman, Pavel Korpolinski, head-to-head for the championship in the final 4, before Connor Falvey will take on Kevin Pascolti. Connor Falvey has already been in this position before, but can Pascolti get himself into his first ever Drift Masters final battle?
It's a big ask for so many drivers, and there's so much on the line. Connor Falvey, he wants that win. He's been on the podium, he's gotten close, but that top step is still eluded them. Piotr Wiensek, Pavel Korpolinski, this is championship implications, and this could be the difference right now in winning another championship for Piotr or winning the first for Korpolinski.
Yeah, it certainly could be. But we're going to find out who that's going to be, because action is moving on as we remove Laurie Heinen from the circuit. Drivers go down to the hot pits down the back end of the circuit to reset, retire and refuel, and get themselves ready to rock and roll for the rest of this competition. Well, the judges are ready. They're ready for action. The fans are ready to see some action. How about you, Jacob? Are you ready for some action?
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
Well, we are eagerly awaiting to get those guys back down there. And as we say, we're going to see Peter Wiensek to take on Pavel Korpolinski. I wondered if you were looking at points a minute ago.
I didn't get that far in. I was looking at records to see. As of right now, Pavel Korpolinski has never beaten Piotr Wiensek. They battled each other 5 times.
That's what you were looking at. I wondered if you were looking at points to see where they stack up in the championship and how that could lay out at the end of the day after qualifying as well. You know, Wiensek taking the most points from qualifying.
I don't want to spoil anything yet. I mean, usually our man Kian in our ears will be shouting points at us. So I mean, I'm kind of waiting on his cue. That's a bit of a hint there, buddy.
It's a bit of a hint.
But no, I was just taking a look at the records between the drivers to see how things line up. I mean, Connor and Kevin have only battled 1 time, and it was actually at the PGA Nordhavwe.
Yep.
But that's it. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. I can start working on points now if you want.
No, I think we should hold out. We're going to see those points at the end of the broadcast when we're going to see all of the championship standings and how it all plays out when we go to move to our penultimate round at the Iron City, Ferropolis in Germany in just 3 weeks' time, where we go under the lights in that incredible circuit before we head to the final at the PGA Narodowy in Poland. There we go. You can see scenes down there in the paddock as Pavel Korpolinski gets that car ready to rock and roll. Laurie Heinen makes his way back down to his paddock to retire for the rest of the day, and Pavel Korpolinski be heading to the back of the grid, thinking the championship now really is starting to get there for him. You know, before it was just a thought, but now it could happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think it starts to set in after a while. You really start to think about it and be like, oh, I've got a real shot here now. Like I'm close. Like it's within grasp. Some drivers, that means everything's great and you'll keep pushing hard. Some drivers, they get very, very nervous, and I think Korpolinski's feeling a little bit of pressure. This man, though, none whatsoever. I mean, Piotr's been here so many times before, either leading a championship or a few points off from it, so he's kind of been in every situation over the years. So he's lived it, and it's just another season for him. But I guarantee he wants a championship as much, if not more, than anybody else.
Yeah, certainly so. And I think this is what it's going to come down to now. It's going to come down to that experience and that knowing of what it takes to be a champion. Look at this from Wiecek as we see him in the car. He's just head down, relaxed, not thinking about a thing. Probably the biggest thing on his mind right now is who he's going to be battling. And he wouldn't want to battle Korpolinski in the Final Four. If he wanted to do it, he would have liked to have done it in the final. 2 Polishmen, then guaranteed a podium, and it would have just come head-to-head who stands on the top step.
Yeah, but I mean, here is how it works out. So they're going to be battling it out now, and then the loser between those 2 battles will end up into our 3rd place battle to kind of pick up some more points, and I mean, find out who the last step on the podium is going to end up being.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, last time we see Kevin Pascolti in this position was at Mario Poch. In 2025.
I have to look up information. You just have it in your head.
Yeah, certainly so. Yeah, 2024, sorry. 2024 in Mario Poch, Kevin Pascolti finished 4th at his home event, the event that he turned up to as an 18-year-old young man and watched Drift Masters for the first ever time. And he said to his friends, one day, I'm going to compete at Drift Masters. And then many moons later, he turned back up again as an incredible driver, a champion in his own country, and representing Hungary all around Europe in Drift Masters. And we go, the flags are flying, everyone's having a good time this weekend here in Riga. As we can see down there, Pavel Korpolinski being told, are you ready to rock and roll? Because Wiecek is down there, that car ready to go, and these guys are going to be forced to go into the tyre warming area to warm the tyres on the back of these cars before they head out into battle. Becky's down there in the paddock, and she is with Jack Shanahan, who unfortunately went from the highs of high in Finland to the lows of low in Latvia.
Jack, as Ian says there, this game is not easy. The highs are high, the lows are low. How do you pick yourself back up after a weekend like you've just had?
To be honest, not a clue. Look, I'm just trying to get through the event, get through the day. I'm very happy that we do have an Irish fella in the top 4 again with Conor Falvey, so he's keeping me in my high spirits now for the rest of the evening, to be honest. So yeah, like Ian said, going from the top in Finland, like I was absolutely in form in Finland, and unfortunately just got here and nothing just seemed to be going to plan from the very first lap, and I kind of had myself beat this morning before I ever even came to the track, to be honest. So yeah, I kind of knew it was going to be game over from then, but look, we're going to keep going. I definitely wasn't good enough to beat these guys with how good the driving has been today, so if you're not entertained, go watch something else. This is unbelievable, to be honest. The driving has been unbelievable, so yeah, let's continue to support Falvey and see if we can take it all the way.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jack, and we'll see you in Germany. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Well, don't get too sad. Jack is still a hero in my eyes, that's for sure. And he always will be, because he is an incredible driver. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time for talking is over. This is our Final 4. And well, tyres are warmed and cars are prepped, and drivers, well, they start to feel the adrenaline pump through the veins, because now it matters more than ever before for these 2 guys. Peter Wiecek wants another championship under his belt. Korpolinski wants his first ever championship under his belt. But right now, he has to take down his fellow countryman, a man that has won it all before, and he's won it here in Riga before. Can Pavel Korpolinski do the unthinkable and take down a man that he's probably looked up to for many, many years to reach that podium today here under a huge amount of crowd as they fire those cars in? And look at that once again from Wiecek. Unbelievable. Both guys go wild. Oh! And Korpolinski can't hang with the pace of Wiecek. Even Wiecek couldn't hang with Wiecek's pace and put that car over the edge of the circuit. He gets himself into that final outside zone, puts the bumper to the wall and absolutely fires away. And both of these guys have turned these cars up to 100, Jacob.
Yeah, hopefully Korpolinski is okay. That was a spooky one. A spin like that is never fun. And the question's now going to become, what happened? Was this a lead kind of leading the chase car off? Did Powell make contact with him, and that's what pushed both of them wide? How did this all transpire? And where will the judges start to blame? Yeah, and I'm just looking there. Look at that damage on the back end of Korpolinski's car. It's damage on one wheel, and the other rear wheel has DB'd. I'm having a word in my ear, ladies and gentlemen, that Peter Wiecek is deemed at fault for Pavel Korpolinski going off track. And look at this, Korpolinski throws his hands up, and he's a little angry here, Jacob, and you can kind of see some more emotion as he walks over to Wiecek. Oh, man.
And Viensek, ladies and gentlemen, our judge is deeming it at fault, and we're going to wait to see if we can see it. And now, look at this, a little urgency from Korpolinski. We're going to see this back in a replay. Jacob, talk us through it.
Yeah, Piotr, with the initiation, gets on throttle, and the car just starts to wash out. And unfortunately for Piotr, it's going to end up leading him to 3 wheels off. Now, Korpolinski's doing his best to keep that chase, but Piotr is already 3 wheels off on the wrong line through zone 1. Judges aren't telling me I'm wrong on this one, so it seems to be the case. And to me, Korpolinski just was trying to follow the lead driver.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's pretty clear cut, and David Kalas is saying, if you need an explanation, I'm right here.
I mean, we got time, we might as well.
I think we might be moving forward with our next battle, but I think it's pretty clear cut. You can see from the drone told the story so clearly. That overhead shot, look, and here you go, look.
Yeah.
Viensek, 3 wheels off, even a snap of understeer. You can see a big steering correction, and of course, for Val Korpolinski, he's following, so he's going to be wider, and he does end up going further off the circuit. And again, another driver, just holding on to it, and that's a scary ride for Pavel Korpolinski. We are going to go to you, David Kalas. Viensek deemed at fault for that one.
Yeah, from this year, we're having a new rule in our rule book, and that is saying that if chaser is following correctly leader, and leader does big mistake enough which can cause collision of the chaser, even though there is no contact, we can still blame the leader for that mistake. And that's what exactly happened here. Pavel was following Piotr correctly. He was trying to do his best as a chaser, and he was let out of the track. And once he was getting back, he hit the edge of the tarmac, and that spin him around and debooted the tire. So we were able, because of the new toolbook, because of the new tool in the rulebook, we were able to put the blame on Piotr and let Pavel change his tire.
Thank you very much, David. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, the rule book today has seriously come into play.
It's getting worn out, man.
That's for sure. You've been back and forth on a few pages there.
Flipping through a few, yeah. I try to some evening light reading.
Let me tell you, it's not light reading.
It's not.
It's, there's a lot of words.
There's a lot. There's some big words in there too.
Yeah, there are big words.
Pull out the old dictionary, but yeah, I agree with that rule. I like that rule.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's clear cut, right? Does exactly what it says on the tin. If you're in that chase position and you're following the lead car, if the lead car's off, so are you. But here we go. We're going to move it along to the other side of the bracket to our second battle. It's going to be Kevin Pascolti to lead out Connor Falvey. Connor Falvey, the higher qualifier, asking Kevin Pascolti to lead first. Once again, taking that option to lead chase first. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a good call out. I think the tire game is definitely coming into play here. Connor Falvey. I'm wondering if they're going to keep the same pace in the car, because Kevin's just not as quick as the past opponents he's faced.
Yeah, well, I wonder if the Falvey team have whipped that car up and left it as it is, because they know that Pascolti's fast, but when they want to be in the lead, they want to be faster. They fire into that first outside zone, and Pascolti does a good job of leading them through it as the body panels now start to be shredded. But look at this from Connor Falvey, starts to apply the pressure, starts to dive down, and look at this clean transition. Falvey on a mission right now. What can he do on outside zone 6? It's absolutely unbelievable. Oh, bumper!
Oh, no!
Falvey hits Pascolti, and they both hit the wall, and the rulebook's back out again.
Yeah, rulebook. I just put it back in my bag, and here it is again. So judges are going to take a look one more time. They're going to figure out where the fault is here. It's going to come down to that decel before 6 and what's going on with Pascolti. If he did something incorrect, or if Falvey's doing something incorrect, there's going to be a lot of replays through outside zone 6. I'll tell you that. Hope you enjoy that zone, because you're going to see it a lot more. First outside zone, everything looks good. Falvey on a bit tighter of a line. Pascolti doing a great job through 2 and through 3. And Falvey's there the whole time. Great transition all the way through into 5. Floats everything again into 6. And then Falvey with a big dive. And he's caught way on the inside. And we are getting word that Connor Falvey is at fault for contact into zone 6.
Yeah, he is deemed at fault by the judges for contact to outside zone 6, and we're going to see this shot here. We're going to see a little left foot brake. Yeah, look at that, climbs up the front wheel. Yeah, just climbs up the front wheel and takes the steering wheel clean out of Kevin Pascolti's hands. We'll see it on board here with Connor Falvey on that contact. Makes that dive in.
Oh, man.
Starts to apply the pressure. Yeah, look at that, hits the front wheel, and they both lose control of the car. And just The dive was brave.
Yeah,
it was a risk or reward dive, and unfortunately for Connor Falvey, this time it just didn't pay off. Now, I wonder, is Connor Falvey's car in a usable position to lead out Kevin Pascolti?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think he's going to send it either way. It's whether or not the start lines are going to allow it. Pascolti's going to get time on his car if he needs it, or if he wants it, or if everything feels fine.
I don't think Kevin Pascolti needs it, maybe. They've pulled up to the line. He's being sent to the tyre warming area. Now, Connor Falvey's car, does it look like there's damage on that rear wheel? That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at everything and see, and he's probably going to get, well, he might have got word already from his spotter that he was at fault. I like the dive. I respect how aggressive he was in the chase there.
Yeah.
Just he's too far on the inside, too far up the car.
And watching from outside zone 1, you could tell that car was super gripped up.
Yeah.
It shallowed up the angle to you know, not use all of the grip there, and but to still maintain proximity. And Connor Falvey understands that. Look, he's in the car and he's saying, okay, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I made a mistake. And it looks like everything is okay on Falvey's car. Just a few more tyre marks on the door.
Yeah, a little bit worse for wear, but that car, I mean, it has looked fantastic one time this year, and that was rolling off the trailer at round 1. And then after that, Falvey has just put it through its paces. And
these machines are built for war, as I see once on the back of a drift car. So
I remember that drift car well.
Yeah, and it couldn't be a truer saying.
Yep.
They're built for one purpose, and unfortunately, as pretty as they look at round 1, they certainly won't look like that by the end of Poland, that's for sure.
Yeah, we said it when we were walking around the pits earlier on. We looked at kind of taking a look at the battle scars of all the cars. I said, well, they look great at the start of the year.
Yeah.
But that's all right. It's the the scars who make us who we are, and every scar tells a story. I'm trying to think of any other song lyrics I can pull up about scars, scar tissue. But yeah, it's just how this sport goes.
Yeah.
And how tight the battling has become, and how close you need to be.
Yeah, so Becky is down there trackside. She's trying to find out some more stories while we get those guys back at the back end of the grid, ready for the second half of that run. Becky's with Harry Kerr.
Okay. Yes, I'm just having a quick wander around in the paddock whilst we're waiting for our track to clear. Harry, you've not had the best of weekends. It was no qualifying for you, but how are you finding your season so far? Coming to Drift Masters, it's a challenge, but tell us what it's been like for you.
Yeah, it's been unreal. Like, these events, I've been at them for a few years now watching, and to take this step is just unreal. Obviously struggling quite a bit, a lot of new things to conquer, basically a full new car as well, but no, we're always going in the right direction, so hopefully the next 2 rounds we might make the top 32.
What has it been like to go up against the quality of drivers here at Drift Masters as opposed to the series you've driven in before?
Oh, ridiculous. Like, even from watching Drift Masters last year, the step up it's took this year is not wise. But I'm sort of supposed to be here, so I'm going to have to start acting like it.
You're absolutely supposed to be here. Now, what have you got in your pocket for the next round in Germany? Obviously, go back, reset. What's next for you?
Yeah, a few adjustments to make to the car. It's not really behaving the way I want it to, so just try a few things and change, but just drive on.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, guys. Just drive on. Those are the words from Harry Kerr. Thank you so much, and we're back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. And yeah, drive on is what Connor Falvey just did. It didn't really play out too well for him, but he's pushing hard. And when you're in the final 4 against the best of the best, you have to push on.
Yeah, it's where we're at in the event and the series and everything. And there's the man that pushed just a little bit too hard earlier on, Connor Falvey. I don't know what goes through a driver's head at that moment. I'm sure you're just replaying it over and over again. But yeah, he's got to clear his head and get back into this and just throw down a crazy, crazy lead run and hope that something crazy happens behind you.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's all you can pay for, really, is, try it, really, and do that. I mean, look, he qualified 3rd at the end of the day, so we know he's got an incredible lead line in him. It's whether Kevin Pascolti can hang with him. We're sure he can. But it's hard to overturn a battle. It's hard to overturn something like that in the lead position.
Yeah, it can happen. You can kind of drag the chase car into deep water. You can run the edge of the track without doing anything that is incorrect.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you go off and they go off, then it's your fault. But you can run the ragged edge of what's possible and hope that chase car can't hang, and the end or the run ends earlier than where your mistake had happened. And then, you know, it could force a couple of different scenarios, but looks like we're gonna take a look at it one more time. Yeah, Connor Falvey just too far on the inside and too far up on Kevin Piscotty.
Yeah, he went for that big dive, and unfortunately, instead of having the wheel on the door where he kind of wanted to position himself, he kind of, he lunged forward and drove up the front wheel, and that pulled the wheel out of Kevin Piscotty's hands, and then there was rear wheel to rear wheel contact, and that really sandwiched Kevin Piscotty into the wall. This could be the dream weekend for Kevin Piscotty right now, as we see the front end of Connor Falvey's Nissan Silvia S15 taking a battering all 4 corners this weekend, having a bit of a hit.
Yeah, it's seen a little bit of the track, a little bit of the gravel, a little bit of everything. Shockingly, it's in better
condition than you thought.
This, knock on wood, I mean, this track can definitely create a lot of problems for drivers. We've seen some of the biggest incidents we've ever seen in Drift Masters history right here. And so far, it's been fairly tame. But yeah, it could have been a lot worse for sure. So hopefully get word here pretty soon what is going on with Piscotty and/or Paweł Kropolinski. We got a few different cars just getting hands on it right now, and the hard part too with this track is the pits are pretty far away and pretty spread out.
Yeah, well, these guys will have a hot pits, which is behind the tyre warming area, so those guys will have a hot pits down there in the back end of the track, and they'll take basic tools, tyres, fuel, jacks and all that sort of stuff, but big repairs will be done back in the main paddock, and as you say, Jacob, that's quite a way away from where the start line is, so I'm guessing Paweł Kropolinski would have made his way back into his own paddock to get that car worked on.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, there we go. We can see Paweł Kropolinski there leaving the main paddock to head out back up onto the start line. He's going to take the short route back to the start line because the track is dead at the moment. Cold, we like to say.
Yeah, I like the little Escort.
Yep.
I like to get that for my rental car on the way out with all the crowds.
Good luck with that.
I know, I'll be hanging out here for a while. So got the podium coming up, and very excited, always excited to do that, especially here because the crowd is incredible. So make sure to hang around for the podium at the very end of things, because it's a great time to see how excited these drivers are with what they were able to accomplish on an incredibly strange and awesome weekend.
Yeah, and I always like the podium. You see the drivers finally take a sigh of relief after a tough day of battling, and a lot of these drivers have been through the ringer, especially Paweł Kropolinski. You know, he's won more times and pushed to the limit, crashes. He's had it all this weekend. I tell you what, though, it's the making of a champion.
Yeah.
If he can come through this.
Yeah. Took the words out of my mouth. You have to go through weekends like this.
Yeah.
It's part of the story. It's part of learning. And, nobody wants to win a championship easily. I mean, well, I'm sure they'd like to win it kind of easily.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But you still need to go through the trials and tribulations of events like this, wars of attrition. And it's what makes that giant trophy at the end of the year so much better, is when you think back to everything you went through to get to that point. The late nights, the pizza for every meal, the road trips, the travel, all of it is rewarded for the best driver, the best team, the best setup, the best everything at the very end of the season, which will be at the PGA Nordaway in Poland in just not that long from now.
Yeah, not too far to wait before we get to that Red Bull Drift Masters final. Here we go. We're going to go on with the second half of the battle between Peter Więcek and Paweł Kropolinski. Więcek now in a chase position, and Paweł Kropolinski 1 foot in the final right now. As they come off the line, they get the green light. Kropolinski slams through the gears. Więcek knows all he can do is chase hard as they flick those cars into angle. A little dab of the handbrake sets himself up nicely. Look at this for Więcek. Tucks up onto the door, but a late transition almost too far on the inside for Więcek. But Więcek makes it back up onto the side of that S14 as Paweł Kropolinski very calculated right now. This is clean driving for Kropolinski as he wanders ever so slightly in that final outside zone, pushes the back end towards the wall across the line.
Yeah, he did a great job with that. And the big part of this too is he's going to get some fresh tires on it. So he's got the lead out there with fresh tires. Piotr is going to have some spent tires on the car because we wouldn't have had time to put hands on the vehicle because he was at fault for that. But yeah, Kropolinski, this is a solid lead run. It feels a little bit anticlimactic just because of the incident that already occurred. But Paweł, it's what he needs to do to put down a run that's going to make sure that he can continue to move on. And Piotr is just trying to push. He's making big dives. He's doing great movements in the chase. His transitions look good. They're very tidy. Maybe could have pushed a little bit harder, but he also doesn't want to create another incident for Korpolinski.
No, he certainly doesn't. And you can see Korpolinski there. Again, this is the surgeon.
Yeah.
The surgeon's come out now to lay down that clean lead line. He didn't need to go too hard. He didn't need to go too fast. He just needed to do what he did in qualifying. That was put down a lead line that was enough, that was chaseable. And you can see there, not even flirting with danger, not even putting that car close to the wall. Doesn't want to risk anything because he knows he has a foot inside the final. He just needs to make it official. And it's smart driving from Paweł Korpolinski. And once again, that is what you expect from a champion.
Yeah, it's knowing when to be aggressive, which we saw earlier on. I mean, with his first battle with Lowry, he was super aggressive.
Yeah.
Came out of the gate, just looked insane, and then comes back out and goes, nope, I'm going to be predictable, put down the run that needs to be put down, nothing more, nothing less, and try and get an easier path into the finals.
Well, it can only go one way, and the decision's in. And look at this, even Wieniawski knows Paweł Korpolinski gets himself into the final. Peter Wieniawski, it won't be the weekend over. He will have to battle it out for the first step on the podium, but who will he face? Will it be Connor Falvey or will it be Kevin Pascolti? That one yet to be decided. We know that Kevin Pascolti had hands on the car down the back end of the paddock, and he was allowed that 10-minute competition timeout. But Becky's down there with Paweł Korpolinski. Becky, say he feels a little bit more stressed, but maybe not as stressed as he did.
Ian, I think it's looking a little bit more like relief on his face right now. Paweł, congratulations on getting through that battle. That looked a little scary from where we were sat, but can you tell us what it was like for you?
Oh, it felt scary from inside of the car too. I felt that we are going slightly too wide, but I didn't know, I couldn't see where at the track we are. I felt going off with 2 wheels and then hitting some of the barriers or the advertisements in here. So yeah, we were like, I think 1.5, 2 meters out of the track. It felt scary. I thought that my car would be, it would get more damage than it actually took. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, but that's definitely not the way I want to advance to the finals.
When you took your car back to the paddock, can you give us a little bit of an update on what had to be fixed? Was there anything much?
No, not really. There was 2 debited tires in rear, so new set of rear wheels. Front wheel needed to. There was a debit also front right, so new front right wheel. We checked the alignment. It was a little bit off, but still good enough to go. We didn't have more time, so yeah, the car felt okay on this run, but I'm not sure how it will be in the finals.
Can you give us a little bit of a track update? Obviously, that outer zone 1 is quite difficult for everybody, but let us know what it's like.
It's still very slippery, and the conditions are changing from run to run, from top 16 to top 8, and from 32 to 16. Everything feels just different every time, so we really need to adjust fast. And I could even feel the difference in grip on the run-up. Maybe it had to do with the tire temperature also, but it just feels different every time.
How do you keep your nerve going into a final? Obviously, this is the position you exactly wanted to be this weekend.
Yeah, I just try to focus on what I need to do. I got a job to be done, and that's it. That's my main focus. So yeah, I try to keep myself calm and yeah, to leave off all the stress and pressure. And yeah, I can feel the raindrops.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you nervous there. I suddenly just felt the raindrops myself, but hopefully that stays away. Paweł, thank you for your insight and good luck in your battle.
Thank you very much.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah. Probably not what Paweł Korpolinski wanted to hear was raindrops.
No.
That started to fall. The back end of that car absolutely obliterated and held together with a fair amount of duct tape.
In hopes and dreams.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Paweł Korpolinski will be making his way into the final. And Paweł Korpolinski right now starting to really push forward in the championship and starting to make moves ahead of everyone else. We're waiting to get word on Kevin Pascolti, whether he has that car fixed or not. Connor Falvey, you can see down there on the back end of the grid, just waiting, not allowed to get hands on that car because he was deemed at fault for the contact. So Kevin Pascolti will be running out of time real quick to get himself back down there for the second half of the battle. So we will check in with them in a few moments' time. Hopefully that rain cloud looks like it's passing, Jacob.
Yeah, it's definitely not the news we want, and nobody wants to see any more put on track at this point. It feels like things are finally starting to get a little bit more stable when it comes to the surface, and then of course a variable like rain comes out of nowhere, and Spoils are fun.
Yeah, interesting to hear from Pavel Kobylinski saying that even the run-up to initiation feels different.
Yeah, it is different paving through that section. You can see a couple of different lines and kind of different colors of where the asphalt's laid down, and that will let you know what those different surfaces are like. And depending on the age and how beat up they are, you'll have different levels of traction.
Yeah, interesting that we've come back this year and the track conditions are different, and that's really played into the hands of some of the drivers and not into some of the others, because I think everyone's struggled quite a bit this weekend with those changing track conditions.
I think the driver and the team that's able to adapt the quickest has been the ones that have done the best, and you can kind of see already the different colors that are within the track there, as well as there's been a little bit of an extension added on a little bit later near the middle or the end of outside zone 1. So you may remember in years past that the track felt like it really ran along the edge the whole way through. Well, we have the same line, it's just now there's an extension that's been added in. So a couple of real nice shots of the pavement there. Nothing like some glory shots of tarmac, but...
Yeah, and that is down there outside zone 2, and that's just 2 foot.
Yeah.
In old money.
What? Hang on.
That is the extension. That's the extension you're talking about. Yeah, there we go. So.
Yeah, the far left side of it.
So that is the extension.
I don't know if they'll let me draw on it, but I'm just going to do it anyways. You can see the line that's basically dividing the two. There we go. And everything on that side is all new. So if you're dropping a wheel off, that tarmac is really smooth, and you can see just even in this section how much of the rubber's been laid down.
Yeah.
Whereas on the outside, it looks pretty fresh. So, yeah. Who would have thought that I'd be using this tool to draw lines on it? But it is. Drivers can tell different asphalt levels and the conditions of it, as well as just even the paint that we use to mark the lines.
I was just going to say, you took the words out of my mouth once again. Drivers saying that even sometimes the white lines, the different tracks that we go to around Europe, that whatever is used on the circuit to paint those outside lines, paint those clipping zones, or the no-go zones. The drivers saying that depends where you go. Sometimes they're slippery, sometimes they're grippy.
Yeah, it really depends, because we have permanent paint, we have washable paint, we've got chalk. Yeah, there's a few different ones over the years. Connor Falvey, you know what? It's great to see a young man just not playing on his phone.
I'm
sure he would love to right now.
Doesn't have his phone right now. Otherwise, he might be checking out some.
Yeah, that's not frozen. That's just how he is.
I was just going to say, I wondered if he was asleep a moment ago when his head was down. He's on the radio talking to his spotters, and we're just waiting for Kevin Pascotti to get those hands on that car and finish up that run. And it does look like you see Falvey there. Look in the mirror ever so slightly to see if he can see Pascotti coming around the back end of the circuit. As we say, the hot pits down there at the back end of the track. And those guys will be working on Pascotti's car, getting it ready.
There we go. That's what the onboard camera system looks like.
Yep.
It's kind of its own controlled box that they can put in. A little fan on the side. Super, super cool setup. And the production team here has a number of them, but they constantly rotate them in and out.
Yeah, it gives us those beautiful on-board shots, the reactions, good to see the relief or the despair from some of the drivers sometimes. And
yeah, some of them don't want it in the car.
Don't want it. And it's sometimes as well, it's often shown us up mechanical failures.
Yep.
When drivers look down, they pull the gear stick or they pull the hydraulic handbrake, and something fails, and you instantly go, oh, that's what went wrong. You can see it inside the car. We've even seen the dash.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Espen Rhodes' car yesterday.
Yeah. Seeing the dash actually helps us a ton, because we're able to identify a lot of what's going on. Sometimes the dash will literally tell you what is going on, like oil pressure or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. There's a spotters tower, Jacob, and those guys invaluable this weekend for our drivers, especially on this track.
Yeah. Actually, I think this one here is the VIP fan booth that they're able to get a very similar view to where the spotters are. So take a look again at that incident, and Connor Falvey just making that contact with Kevin Pascotti, waiting on Pascotti to get back out there and hopefully make it into competition. Time's got to be running out for him. I know he's got a fair bit, but kind of thinking back, I'm sure that clock is running pretty tight, and there is a certain amount of time that he's got to be able to make it back to the line, and I feel like we're getting close to that point. so we can really see from that view just how close Connor Falvey is and what that incident ended up looking like. And I'm sure he's kind of putting that replay in his head over and over again as well.
Falvey.
Yeah, he'd be thinking about it a lot and kind of what happened, and I'm sure he's tired of me talking about it.
Yeah, everyone is probably at the moment, but hey, that's what we're paid to do. Yep. So I am hearing word from the guys behind the scenes here at Drift Masters that we are just waiting on Kevin Pascotti to get that car finished and fixed. Apparently he's very close to being done and back out on circuit, and as soon as he enters the back end of the circuit there after making those repairs, he will warm the tyres, so will Connor Falvey, and we will get this last Final Four battle wrapped up, and we will see who is in the final to take on Pavel Korpolinski and who will play off in the 3rd and 4th place for the 3rd step on the podium. The King of Riga crown could be going to Pavel Korpolinski or Kevin Pascotti or even Connor Falvey.
Yeah, something could happen. I do feel like this really cements Korpolinski's top spot right now. He's going to be hanging on to that because there's nobody that's going to be able to pick up more enough points. Falvey won't be able to jump up that far, neither will Pascotti.
No.
So for right now, Pavel Korpolinski is going to hold on to that top spot, and the question is going to be how far can he extend that lead?
Well, this is the other thing as well, and historically I want to briefly touch on it, and we keep doing it. I want to briefly touch on, the next round, the penultimate round of the championship. Germany has always been a very strong event for Pavel Korpolinski. He's been on the podium there multiple times.
Yeah, it's a technical track, and it's the kind of track that he really likes. It's where the qualifying scores are incredibly high.
Yeah.
You are able to pick out errors very quickly because if you're not on the wall, you're losing points. So for him, it allows him to showcase exactly what he's able to do as a driver, and it suits his ability, his style, and everything very deeply. And I mean, there's a lot of drivers that do well, but there's not many drivers that do as consistently well as he does.
No, and Pavel Korpolinski, I think for the first ever year that he showed up, and there we go, there is Kevin Pascotti, ladies and gentlemen, making his way back onto the circuit, back down to the tyre warming area to do the second half of the run between himself and Connor Falvey. Touching back on that subject, I think that Pavel Korpolinski will feel super confident heading into Germany, knowing he has the machinery underneath him and the team, and leading with maybe quite a bit of room, a bit of distance between anyone else, knowing that, hey, if I do come 3rd or 4th, it's not the end of the world. We can seal the deal in Poland, and he'd love nothing more than to win that event in Warsaw, his hometown.
Oh yeah, that would be incredible, and that
what a hometown hero story, right?
Oh my God.
Pavel Korpolinski from Warsaw wins his championship and the event in Warsaw.
Yeah.
I mean,
you almost want it to go to the finals. I'm sure he would love to wrap it up in Germany.
Every driver would love to wrap it up here in Riga. Get the job done, take the pressure off, and then walk into the last 2 rounds and say, hey, look, at the end of the day, the job's done, and the rest of the rounds, they're just for merit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be, well, it won't be the case for sure this weekend, and it would basically mean he'd have to win in Germany, and the other contenders go up pretty early for him to wrap it up that early in the season. But realistically, I really do think it's going to end up coming down to Poland, and it's just going to be how much stress does he need to go through. As Marcin, once again, just at this point, it's just art.
It's just
functional art.
Functional art, yeah, duct tape art. Well, there we go. Connor Falvey sits on the line in the lead position, a little nervous knowing what could have been potentially, but we still don't know if it could be that way because we still have one half of the battle. There's the second half of the tail to go. As Kevin Pascotti has been down there in the paddock, you can see that car repaired and back on form and ready to go. And Pascotti probably looking at his first ever shot in a final here at Drift Masters. We wait for that light to go green. It will be Connor Falvey from Ireland to lead out. Kevin Pascotti for a spot in the final waits for one of these drivers. Who will it be? As they fire through the gears, and Connor Falvey flicks that car to angle, stands on the accelerator, gets a little wild, holds onto it though as Pascotti keeps it clean. Oh, big mistake from Kevin Pascotti as he wanders and wavers in the background. Now goes for a big dive down outside zone 5 as Pascotti goes up on the curb and he looks a little shaken. Falvey gets it into outside zone 6 as Pascotti tries to find the proximity. Falvey stands on the foot brake and brings it across the line. Pascotti's all over the place.
Yeah, that was awkward to say the least.
So much happened in one run of drifting. I don't even know where to begin, and Jacob looks like he's seen a ghost.
Yeah, let's begin at the beginning. Connor Falvey dipping a wheel off, getting a ton of angle through one. Pascotti is way far back. I don't know if maybe he saw it, but then Pascolti just straightens. He straightens the car, coming from 1 to 2. I'm wondering if there was more damage to Pascolti's car than maybe they fixed. Man, I don't know how the judges are going to call this one, but look at, there you go. That's opposite drift at that point, which may deem an incomplete in the chase. And then Connor's just got to make it through the rest of the run, but Falvey, we'll get to the very end of it, is just kind of like rolling burnout through 6. So Falvey, he's kind of all over the place as well. Pascolti's all over the place. We'll see what the judges think on this one. I don't want to delay the show anymore, but I think we'll probably need some sort of explanation one way or another, because there's just a lot of mistakes going on.
Yeah, there's a lot to take away from this, that's for sure, Jacob, and we definitely will have to go to David Kalas regardless of the decision after this, because a lot did happen. For me, it was the end of the run as well. I wondered if Connor Falvey's car was broken at one point, because Kevin Pascolti doesn't really get up under the door and almost drive straight across the finish line there.
But Falvey's like, he's on the left foot brake, he's just cranking out the tires, and he's going real slow at the end of 6. Like, he's creeping over the line. So I don't know if that is just frustration from him, and he's just, kind of that angry burnout at the end of the run, or if maybe he's had an issue with the alignment, and that's just what the car wants to do. So, I have no idea what's happening.
No, I certainly have no idea what's happening. And I tell you what, the judges are going back and back and back over the replay, and they're looking at what is going on. And yeah, Kevin Pascolti, I can see it there on the judges' replay. He's almost straight over the finish line. Now Connor Falvey, you're seeing the same replay now, ladies and gentlemen, as the judges see it. See, Connor Falvey's quite slow, but Kevin Pascolti's on the inside.
So I think the argument that's being put right now is, did Kevin Pascolti have an incomplete in the chase, right?
Yep.
And that being said, did Falvey have an unchaseable run?
Okay.
Right? So those are the two things. But, like, here's where it gets weird.
Yep.
And complicated. Does an unchaseable run mean anything if the driver in the chase has already incompleted?
And this is when it comes down. Now they're looking at this. So they're looking at the initiation. Yeah, Falvey does dip a wheel over that white line. He does go wheels over. Look at this, the crowd. The Hungarian fans hold their breath.
Yeah, neither of them
drivers now. Now look, slide it left for Pascolti, right for Falvey. Who's going to take it through to the final? It's going to be Kevin Pascolti. Kevin Pascolti gets the win, advances to his first ever Drift Masters final. And Connor Falvey will head into the 3rd and 4th place playoff against Peter Vienczek. David Kalas, we know you're taking notes, but we have to hear from you. There was a huge deliberation between you two guys.
Yeah, we needed to definitely get back to the rule book. So in the first run, we had situation where we had a 0 on the chase position because there was a collision between 2 drivers. And then we're coming to the next run. In the next run, Kevin Pascolti had opposite drift, which is obviously 0. But from that point, the run is not over, and the leader needs to finish his run. And as we are looking on the last part of the track, Connor slowed down so much in the last corner that we called that unchaseable, because even in qualification we can call unchaseable run if we see 2 big mistakes.
Thank you very much, David. Well, there you go, straight from the judges' mouths. Well, Becky is down trackside with Kevin Pascolti. Becky, this is the first ever time that Kevin Pascolti has got himself into a Drift Masters final, and we see what it meant to him down there with Falvey.
Kevin, I'm trying to give you a second here to get your emotions. I know it's a big one for you. You've just got yourself into your first ever final. Can you give us an update on that car? Because that looked like it was a difficult run for you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm hearing myself. So actually everything is bad now, and it's just hard to drive the car, but they already started to repairing it. Actually, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless because the hardest track of this year and every year, and I'm in the final. We worked so hard to get here, and I didn't expect this result by ourselves. It's unbelievable.
Kevin, all the hard work has paid off. It's absolutely brilliant to see you in the final. Listen to this crowd. They're delighted for you. get yourself back in that car and go and claim your final.
Well, a very emotional Kevin Pascotti. Look at that, some very emotional fans. Look what it meant to Kevin Pascotti. Yeah, look, a lot of hard work. I said to you, he came to Mariupol in Hungary many moons ago when Drift Masters visited there for the first ever time as a young man and said, one day, Jacob, I'm going to be out there in a drift car and I'm going to be competing with the best of the best. And there he was, and 2024, he went back there and he just missed out on a podium in front of his home crowd. And this weekend, he gets his moment to shine in a brand new car for 2026, a new power plant, a new program, and a hard year. Finland, we see the team change the engine overnight. And this weekend, everything for Kevin Pascotti, all kind of fellow, all the stars aligned. And this is the heat tree. This is what we're going to be looking forward to. Our playoff will be Peter Wiensek to take on Connor Falvey, and the final will be Pavel Korpolinski to take on Kevin Pascotti.
Wow, just absolutely wow. I mean, both of these battles are incredible, and it's going to be to wrap this up. This is going to be an evening to remember. Yeah, Kevin Pascotti already a weekend to remember. And I'm sure for Connor Falvey, he looked at that and remembered the same emotions. He saw the same emotions in Pascotti that he had only a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a big night for everybody involved.
It certainly is. Well, this is the road to final for Pavel Korpolinski. This, Jacob, is how he got it done this weekend here in Latvia. Well, he took down the local hero, and that was Daniels Bormanis in that BMW E46. And the surgeon looks a little shaky at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, he did. It didn't really all come together for him right away. It took a couple of battles before he really kind of found his own and got into a groove that meant he could start taking down some big names. So you can tell with that emotion in top 32, he was a bit stressed on that battle, and that stress continued going on against Nasser Al-Habali, who still put up an incredible fight, but now Pavel really found a bit more pace in the car.
He certainly did find some pace in the car, and he kind of brought out some aggression that we've started to see from Pavel Korpolinski in the last few rounds of Drift Masters, now leading that championship. And there is the elation as he took down the man from El Salvador in that carbon Kevlar Nissan 400Z. Then he went up against a very on form Laurie Heinen, and Laurie Heinen back on form this weekend, back in his Nissan 180SX, but engine failure once again. A damaged inlet manifold took Laurie Heinen out of competition in the one more time, and look at that, the sigh of relief, the breath. But then he had to go against his fellow Polishman, Peter Wiensek, who led them both off track in the first half of the run, and Korpolinski sustaining some serious damage to that car.
Yeah, he still had to get back out there and continue on with that battle, and hopefully the car is in a great spot, because that spin out was big. He talked about debeating even front wheels, and that's a lot of stress on everything, and a bit of luck for him there on these battles. But as we said, champion needs luck in order to make it to the top step. Yeah. And then we move on to Kevin Pascotti and his road to the finals. That started off with Mika Keski-Korpi, who looked really good going into this, but unfortunately just met a Pascotti that, as we know, was completely on fire.
Yeah, he certainly was on form and didn't really put a foot wrong. And for me, Keski-Korpi was making some mistakes all the way through from qualifying. Then he took on Jakub Puszkonski in that top 16 battle, and Puszkonski unfortunately just couldn't really hang with the Hungarian. And Kevin Pascotti once again looking strong and getting the win over the Polishman and moving himself into the Great 8.
Yeah, Kuba looked good, but unfortunately just cut some line a little bit here and there to try and keep up with Pascotti, who's found a ton of pace, especially against a driver like Oliver Randall, who is becoming quickly known as one of the fastest drivers on grid. And this is just a fun heads-up battle, both of them really scrapping it out through every single part of this run. And once again, Pascotti just tried to be cool, calm, and collected, took some unique lines but still worked out for him and got the win there.
Yeah, it certainly did. It did work out for him, and this was against Connor Falvey in the lead position. We see Kevin Pascotti put that car into outside zone 6. Connor Falvey driving up the front wheel, forcing both of those cars into the wall. Unfortunately, Kevin Pascotti's car having to go back to the paddock and take on some serious repairs, but the team down there from Hungary getting it repaired. And look at this. This is what it means to Kevin Pascotti to get himself in his first ever ever Drift Masters final, guaranteed a trophy and to stand on the podium this weekend here in Latvia. And as he said himself, and as many drivers have said this weekend, Jacob, the hardest track on the calendar.
Yeah, I completely understand why. It takes everything, high speed commitment, technical driving, big transitions, amazing chase job. You really do need to pull out every single tool just to have a shot at doing well at this event. And for all 4 of these drivers that have still yet to battle to find their places on the podium, they've really shown all of that. And some of them have had just that little bit of luck, but it's what happens, you know, to finish first you have to finish, and a lot of their competitors failed to do so.
Yeah, they certainly did. Well, we have our last 2 battles lined up, and it will be Pavel Korpolinski to take on Kevin Pascolti. Pavel Korpolinski, I think it's take a deep breath, get your mind in the right spot, and just think about winning the battle. Don't worry about the championship or the points. Just think about the battle. Think about taking down an on-form Kevin Pascolti. But because Pascolti's saying that car's still not 100%, and we heard the car disappear during that interview with Becky, that the team had already taken the car back into the paddock to do even more work on it. Look, they've got a little bit of time to get that car back 110%. But up first, it will be Peter Wiensek to take on Connor Falvey. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. This is going to be a heater. It's going to be the playoff. Well, a former champion and a man that is hunting down his first ever championship, a man that's hunting down great success, and 2026 seems to be the year that Connor Falvey in that Drift Games S15 is making moves, because Connor Falvey has already stood on the podium here at Drift Masters, his hometown in Ireland at Mondello Park. Can he do it again? And this weekend he has to go through our first place qualifier, very on form, Wiensek, and a man that's initiation seemed to be catching everyone out, Jacob.
Yeah, that high-speed initiation is really what's done it for him in so many different cases. Unfortunately, his last battle, that wasn't how things ended up playing off for him, but we are talking about the king of Rigas, and that's not going to be the case for him this weekend. He's going to be going up against Connor Falvey, who for him this could be the biggest season he's ever had. For Piotr, it's just about minimizing damage in the championship race.
It certainly is. It's all about damage reduction for Wiensek and holding on to that top 5 or that top 3 in the championship. We're going to see how those points lay after the event is done. We're going to bring up the championship standings and show you exactly how the leaderboard stacks up. But for Falvey, this is all about just trying to keep yourself in the game, keep your mind fresh and keep going. And look at this, the right mindset as he slams that S15 into gear. That 2JZ S15 against the 2JZ Toyota A90 Supra. They are off the line. It's Wiensek to lead in Falvey for the 3rd step on the podium as Wiensek fires that car in. Look at Falvey, he's got the measure of the podium. Oh my God! Wiensek slams that car into the wall at high speed. And we hope that Wiensek is fine. That was a serious collision. Wiensek, we have the safety crew getting down there. I'm being told in my headset that Wiensek is down there with a safety crew. That was a serious collision for Wiensek. But Connor Falvey had the measure of Wiensek on the initiation, and we are waiting to get word to see if Wiensek is out of that car. That was a seriously bad accident for Peter Wiensek.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's one of the worst hits we've seen in a very, very long time.
So there he is, ladies and gentlemen. He's out of the car. Wiensek is out of the car and fine, and he waves to the crowd and he pulls off the equipment, and all of the safety crew are down there with Wiensek. And
Connor's out.
Thank you for you guys in attendance for showing your appreciation. Look at this, Connor Falvey down there straight away to make sure Wiensek is right. Sportsmanship. I tell you what, Jacob, the way things are going today, I might even cry at the final.
I'm getting emotional here. I mean,
wow.
We definitely highlight crashes a lot, but you have to remember, we all know these drivers very well, and it can be very difficult to watch a friend go into a wall like that.
And there we go. Look, the safety crew and the ambulance are down there. They're going to
Spotters there already. Lukash is there.
Yeah, Lukash down there. That is Peter Wiensek spotter straight down onto the circuit to make sure he's okay. And you could see he was as well visibly upset, and all of the crew are down there to make sure Peter's okay. He will be going away in the ambulance to get checked over by the crew, but that by far is probably one of the scariest crashes we've seen since Peter and James crashed in Spain in 2025. as we see Becky hot-footing it down there as well to catch up with Peter and have a word with him. It just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, it goes without saying that here at Drift Masters that we have not only the greatest safety crews, but the best built chassis and the best equipment that these drivers can physically put into their cars, because Riga is no joke.
No.
And I don't think we can stress enough that we say it's fast, right? We tell everyone, this is a fast track, it's dangerous, there's no runoff. It just goes to show you there, ladies and gentlemen, that Riga holds no prisoners. Becky's down there with Peter Wieniec. Becky, we hope he's okay, and we're sorry to see that. That was a serious crash.
Peter, that was a scary one. Can you let us all know if you're okay?
Yeah, you know, I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank you for caring. During our last run, I dropped 2 wheels. We thought that the grip simply decreased on the track, so we also adapted. We added a bit to grip to the car, but unfortunately, it was still a little too much, and I ended up in the tire wall. So that's unfortunate for us, but congratulations to Connor. Great result for him. I wish there could be 2 poles on podium, but not this time. Maybe on the next round. Thank you very much to everyone who've been cheering us for us. This year's Riga was really scary. Each run for me, especially initiating this first corner, it was like going through a really tough combat, but yeah, it ended up in a way how it is, but we'll definitely not give up, and we'll try to be even better on the next one.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Well, it's good to see Peter out the car with a smile on his face, and we see, unfortunately, the A90 Supra being lifted on, and the crews there clearing up. We're going to take a look back at the replay now. We know Peter is fine. Look at this big initiation. He goes for it. Look at this. Look at the front wheels, just cannot hang with the grip, and that just goes to show you how hard that hit was. Forced him straight out. Look at this. We get it from this camera angle. That's a horrific crash.
Yeah.
And that's big speed.
That's about as fast as you're going to get on this track, and then going off. And the tires are great because they're going to slow you down, but they do grab you and pull you in. And honestly, it was the flames there at the very end that really spooked me. But yeah, there's Piotr. The car just did not want to come around with the amount of grip that he's got in it. And wow, the energy going into that tire bale.
And I just want to put it into everyone's minds, ladies and gentlemen, that Peter Wieniec sits on that side of the car that hit the tyre bale first. So that would have been terrifying for Wieniec to see that tyre wall coming up at those speeds.
Yeah, but thankfully he is all right. It is a testament to how well these cars are built and to the safety standards that we hold. That is a big hit, and the fact that he was able to walk away, smile on his face, and continue to drive is a big testament.
Well, as smiley as he was, and as much as he said he's okay, we did send him away in the ambulance, ladies and gentlemen. We do need to make it official. Connor Falvey will take 3rd step on the podium here in Riga, and Connor Falvey takes 3rd step on the podium, not the way he would wanted it to have gone down. He would have wanted to fight with Wieniec to the end, but unfortunately Wieniec sustaining that accident, and Peter Wieniec, ladies and gentlemen, I can confirm, did leave the track in the ambulance to get checked out. He said he was fine.
Yeah,
like most men, like a real man.
It's protocol though. I mean, and it's the right thing, because I mean, that's just a big hit. It's a lot of speed going into it, and I'm once again, I'm just very happy that our friend and driver and colleague is okay.
Yeah, and as you touched on there, Jacob, that we are a travelling circus. We are 7 stops around Europe, all over the course of the summer, and we do get very friendly. We do hang out with everyone throughout every single event. We have a lot of fun. We spend a lot of time together, and we become more than just almost workmates at this point. We become close friends, and it's always hard to see. I say it to a lot of drivers. Even when someone doesn't qualify, it's hard to see. Well, Connor Falvey is down there with Becky trackside. Becky, he's done it again. He's on a Drift Masters podium, but maybe not the way he wanted.
Absolutely, guys. Congratulations to Connor for 3rd here at Riga, but obviously not the way you wanted it to go down. Can you let us know from your point of view how that was?
Yeah, definitely. Not in a million years. I would have lost that battle all day long than witnessed that, to be honest. Like, I was very worried in case Peter was hurt, to be honest, but thankfully he wasn't. I think that's more of a win than me getting the podium, to be honest, that he's okay, and proving that drifting is a really safe sport, that we all wear all our safety gear, and that's such an important part of drifting. But yeah, I'm just glad Peter's okay.
The track this year seems to be proving difficult for a lot of our drivers. Have you felt it as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I was in the lead run, the same thing could happen to me. It was very unpredictable. Every time you entered in, you needed more handbrake. I know we were getting faster and stuff, but grip definitely went down a bit and stuff. So yeah, it got really dangerous there towards the end.
Were you finding that people were dialing in more grip, but maybe the track was loosening up?
Yeah, I felt like people were putting in more grip, but it was kind of a pointless exercise because it was just cancelling out with the condition of the track. But yeah, geez, I'm just still in shock, to be honest, because it was a fright.
I can imagine it was a big fight. I mean, yourself, you've been fighting all year. This is your second podium. How is it for you?
Yeah, it's unbelievable to get my second podium, of course. As I said, I wouldn't want it to go that way, but it is a really good feeling to get another podium in Drift Masters. I didn't think I'd get any this year, and to get two is a really good feeling, so I'm absolutely delighted. I can't thank all my team enough, and everyone watching at home. I really appreciate the support.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Connor. Congratulations on third place here at the Round 5 Riga.
Well, there we go. Yeah, we said it. You know, Falvey wouldn't have. He would have rather have lost than see Vincek glued to the wall like that. And the more we watch back over it, look even Falvey. Look, 3 wheels off at that point, being led out of the circuit by Vincek. It's good to see that he's okay and he has visited the ambulance, and we are being told that he is fine. And he had a big smile on his face. I mean,
I'm sure he's going to be sore tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna definitely feel that tomorrow. That's for sure. But good to see those two guys laugh, you know, after, and the camaraderie between all these drivers. Again, we've seen it in the paddock before. People breaking cars and all jamming in to help fix them and get them back out on circuit, because these guys love nothing more than to get the battle done on track.
Yeah, that's how everybody wants to win, right? They want to go heads up. They want to win because they were the better driver, not because the other driver had some sort of incident. So it's good to see everybody is okay. And you know, we talk about that luck for Falvey. Another podium's another podium.
Yeah.
It's fitting. He is an incredible young driver, one that's just at the very start of his career, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds for him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm excited to see what the future holds for Falvey. It looks like it's going to be strong, that's for sure. And I'm excited to see Connor Falvey in 2027 and see now he's got the measure of all these tracks, what he can do.
Yeah. Stoked to see all these fans hanging out. We understand that there's a bit of a delay in this because of everything that's going on. So thank you so much for sticking with us and checking out the final, because this is going to be an absolutely incredible way to wrap up this event.
It certainly is. It's going to be incredible, and I tell you what, it's going to be incredible seeing the point standings at the end of the day, to see where that championship now looks after so many shock exits in top 32 and top 16, and what we look like going into Germany, which we keep talking about, but it's such an iconic event under the lights. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've all been waiting for. It's time for the final. Pavel Korpolinski sits in that 2JZ-powered Nissan 200SX S14A on the start line to lead out Kevin Pascolti. And Kevin Pascolti sits there saying, this is my first ever time in this situation. I know I'm on the podium, doesn't matter what happens next, but what he would love nothing more is to be the top step of the podium.
Yeah.
And could he be the 5th different man to stand on the top step of the podium at Drift Masters in 2026, because that would be unprecedented. That would be something that has never happened in Drift Masters history.
Yeah, the way this season's going, I wouldn't be shocked at this point in time. An incredible year with so many diverse events and winners and challengers and everything else, and he's not phased at all, man.
I tell you what, from tears to now being a little bit
little
flirty with the cameraman. He's in the mood now.
Yeah,
I feel that Pascolti, look, they got that car back down to the paddock, and we spoke about this and said that they made sure that car was 110% for this run. Look at this, Pascolti just going through his movements, just getting himself back in the zone. This is just another battle.
Yeah,
this is just another battle.
But that's how you have to be right now.
Yep.
And I don't know if they would have watched or heard about the accident that happened before, but they did. They don't seem to be phased by it, and it's just go back out and another day of drifting.
It certainly is another day of drifting for Kevin Pascolti, but for this man right alongside him, Pavel Korpolinski, this could be the chance. This could be another win in 2026, and it could be the foundation of the championship. And look at this, what it means to him. Look at him staring down the circuit, getting himself in the zone, thinking about what could be ahead, thinking about the next 2 rounds that are coming up on the calendar.
I'm wondering now, do you lead first? Do you chase first? What do you do here? You know that there was an off. Do you still go, okay, I'm going to lead first? Do you let the other driver go first and then just say, okay, if maybe there's something going on or the track has changed that much and I want to let you test the waters before I go out there? Korpelinski, I feel like he's the kind of guy who would want to lead first traditionally, but I don't know if he'll stick with it.
Historically and traditionally, Pavel Korpelinski is a man that doesn't really change the script.
No.
Sticks to what he knows, and that's leading first. And I think he is going to lead first, looking from the sign there as he moves into the first burnout box to warm up the tyres on those cars. Both guys are now preparing their cars and the tyres to do battle for the final time here in Riga in 2026. And one of these drivers will be crowned the King of Riga. Will it be Pavel Korpelinski, the surgeon, or will it be Kevin Pascotti?
This is it, the last few turns in the burnout box, getting the tires warm, getting your head straight and getting ready to fly through the forest at Bikernieku into that massive turn one and hope everything works out, that the stars align. And at the end of it all, you get to stand at the top of the box with the crown on your head in front of all the Latvian fans and be crowned the new King of Riga.
Well, there definitely will be a new King of Riga this weekend, that's for sure, as Viensek falls foul. And now we will see a brand new face, a brand new wearer of the crown in Riga this weekend. Both onboard cameras shine, and we see a look inside the cabins of two race cars. Two heavy hitters this weekend, two guys that could get the job done. It will be the Hungarian Kevin Pascotti to chase down the Polishman Pavel Korpelinski. Two JZs underneath the bonnets of the car, two 1,000 horsepower cars, different chassis, same mentality, and that's to win, and that's to stand on the top step of the podium. And look at this as the visor once again just gets closed on Pascotti's car. He now stares down the circuit, ready to do battle. Our start line marshal, Marcin, steps up to give them the thumbs up. The suit and the dicky bow tie are looking tight. The fit is good for Marcin, but is the fit good for Pavel Korpelinski right now? They sit on the line. Pascotti starts to creep as Pavel Korpelinski gets the green light to go, and they hammer through the gears towards initiation, and Pascotti's on the back bumper already. He shallows up the angle to keep proximity, to keep within touching distance of Pavel Korpelinski. As Korpelinski now looks for outside zone 4, they transition to 5, and look at this from Pavel Korpelinski. It's clinical, but look at Pascotti. Pascotti goes for it. He needs a dive on the door at the final outside zone as Korpelinski puts it to the wall and across the line.
Korpelinski back to those surgical ways, but he's adding a little bit more style, a little more flair, a little more aggression. But Pascotti is just not letting him go anywhere. He's never made it this far before. He's never had this much experience in one day on a track, and that's just adding to his driving ability. But yeah, for Pavel Korpelinski, a couple little hiccups there on initiation. And Pascotti just not phased, able to take a bit more on that inside line, trying to close up that gap. Great transition before they go into 2. Korpelinski now collects into zone 3, left foot brake on, trying to push that car as far as he can into 4. Big transition out to 5 and a bit more of a straight line approach. And see it one more time, coming through that barrel and shooting themselves out back towards the fan. And man, this is tense. There's not a lot of mistakes going on between either driver.
No, there certainly isn't. And look at this. You can see Kevin Pascotti inside that GR86 wheeling that car. A few mistakes creeping in there. You can see the steering being corrected on the front end of Pavel Korpelinski's S14A as he puts that car in to outside zone 6 and over that jump. Look at this from Pascotti. Takes it, transitions at exactly the same time. He's got it dialed, he's got it absolutely dialed, but doesn't really take the opportunity in outside zone 6 to dive up into the door. He does get close, but Korpelinski starts to drive away.
Yeah, I'm super eager to see how this looks when we start to flip them around. Does Pascotti pull out something crazy at the last minute and just try and shake off Korpelinski as they get the thumbs up? Gears are engaged and we're ready to go.
We certainly are. We wait for those lights to illuminate. We wait for the green light for the final run of our final battle of Riga 2026. Round 5 has been an absolute roller coaster as they fire through the gears. Kevin Pascotti to lead out Pavel Korpelinski as Korpelinski fires up onto the back bumper but leaves some room to maneuver as Pascotti now works his way in and around this dangerous Riga circuit. Oh wow! Korpelinski goes for it, pushes himself to the limit as he dives once again into the outside zone, looking for the side of Pascotti's GR86, noses in, almost makes contact and across the line.
Korpelinski did not want to leave this in the hands of the judges. He wanted to make sure that this was definitive. No questions left, no notes at the end of this. And what a chase run there. Kevin Pascotti did everything he could. He was trying to shake off the surgeon through every single turn, throwing big angle wherever he could, a ton of speed, going to the track edge. I mean, I thought they were both going to go off on 4. And look at this, Pascotti just riding the very ragged edge of outside zone 1, coming through 3, collecting that. Look at this, right to the very clipping before transitioning out to 5. Pascotti, he tried to drag Korpolinski into deep water.
He did, yeah. He did exactly what you said earlier on. These drivers will do when they feel they're under pressure a little bit. I'm just going to put it all out there and say I think that Kevin Pascotti's lead line was way cleaner than Korpolinski's.
But Korpolinski's chase, he was on him. He was there, door to door, all the way through. It's going to be a really tough call for the judges here, and we'll see what they think as they start to submit their scores. This is such a tight battle, man. Both these drivers need to be incredibly proud of what they went through this week and the fact that they even survived the trials and tribulations that Bikernieku has to offer.
Well, it certainly was. It was a survival of the fittest here this weekend in Riga, in Latvia, and as always, this track throws up all that we expect from this incredible circuit, and it has given us a story to tell, that's for sure, in 2026. As the scores now start to drop in from our judges, we take a look back at the slow-mo shots, and Korpolinski buried on the door of Kevin Pascotti across the line. These two guys should hold their heads high because that was an incredible battle between two great drivers. But is it going to be the weekend that Kevin Pascotti has dreamed of for years and years, or will it be back to business for Pavel Korpolinski? The hat is on. They both await the decision. Slide them left for Korpolinski, slide them right for Kevin Pascotti. It's Pavel Korpolinski! Pavel Korpolinski wins round 5 of Drift Masters 2026 and is crowned the new King of Riga.
So deserving.
So deserving. Kevin Pascotti takes the second step on the podium, but Pavel Korpolinski opens up the championship hunt once again and is the second winner here in 2026. But Kevin Pascotti should hold his head high. What a drive from that young man. And you can see what it means to the fans, but look at him down there with his team right now. Pavel Korpolinski, he's on a championship drive right now.
Yeah, what an absolute tear, and being able to push this even further to continue that lead even deeper into the season. This is going to alleviate some pressure and add more. Can he keep this perfection going? Can he continue this absolute terror reign that he's got over everybody else right now?
Well, we spoke about it earlier on. We head to the next round, his strongest event of the season, one that he absolutely adores. But let's talk to the brand new King of Riga. Becky's down there trackside with Pavel Korpolinski.
Pavel, congratulations. You are the winner of round 5 here in Riga. You are the new King of Riga. Can you tell us what's going through your mind right now?
I don't even know what to say. It's my second time being in that position, and once again I'm speechless, same as at Mondello. I think that the consistency got me here into the finals and into the first place. Like, I didn't really feel good behind the wheel of my car. Like, I didn't take any risks. Like, I didn't feel good at all. So I think it's the consistency. So I'm really happy. I couldn't be more happy than I am right now. Second win this season. Like, what a season it is. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. It's another dream come true, basically. Yesterday in one of the interviews I said that to maintain the lead in championship would be more than I expect, and here I am taking another win at the round and extending the lead in the championship. So yeah, I just want to thank to my crew, the mechanics that keep the car running throughout the weekend with no issues. We had quite a big crash on this corner behind us at practice. They fixed the car in no time. Thank you to all my opponents that I got on the way, and thank you to my partners and sponsors for making it all possible. So thank you guys, and of course thank you to the amazing Latvian fans and all the fans from different countries being here in Riga. Thank you guys, thank you.
Congratulations, Pavel. Thank you guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky, and there you go. 2 wins in one season. Pavel Korpolinski gets the job done and now starts to stretch ahead in the championship fight. And of course, we will look at those championship points in just a few moments' time. But this is the results list for today. Round 5 in Riga. And Drift Masters, round 5 is done and dusted. Pavel Korpolinski wins round 5 and claws back 104 points. Kevin Pascotti comes in second. Connor Falvey takes third step on the podium. And Peter Vienczek takes 4th place overall on the weekend, and we can see there how the results list now start to tumble down. Benedikt Scherber there finishing out in 8th, but for me, Sim Oscar Hall, the wildcard driver from Estonia this weekend, clawing 48 points on the board. And let's take a look at the all-important championship standings. How are we looking right now as they drop onto your screens? Pavel Korpolinski is still leading your championship, but now with 382 points, 52 points ahead of Peter Wiensek. James Dean is hot on the heels, though, of Peter Wiensek. Shanahan still in the fight in 4th, and Jack Shanahan still in the fight in 5th place. But Falvey now jumps himself up into 6th place in the championship with 239 points. It's getting stacked up the top end of the championship, but the Polish still lead the pack as we head into Germany in round 6. Well, there we go, scenes from the track side of Pavel Korpolinski getting that win with his team and celebrating at the edge of the circuit. An unbelievable drive, and the consistency, as he said, this weekend seemed to be the key and seemed to get the job done once again. Let's take a look at the calendar of 2026. This is where we've been and this is where we're going, and we just updated it. Round 5, Riga, Latvia, the winner, Pavel Korpolinski. But up next is, of course, the Iron City, Foropolis in Germany, and that is where we go under the lights in a completely concrete-walled arena. And if you've forgotten what it looks like, this is what it is. A unique place, an island in the middle of Germany where 45 drivers from around Europe will go head-to-head under the lights in front of the light show to put on one hell of a show at Red Bull Drift Masters. And 3 weeks' time, we will crown a new winner in Germany. And will it be Pavel Korpolinski? As we say, the man that looks ever so strong in Germany, can he do it once again? Well, there we go. As we say goodbye here from Riga, the fans leave the grandstands to celebrate with the drivers down on the podium. From me, from Jacob, from Becky down there on the ground, from everybody here at Drift Masters, we'll see you in 3 weeks' time at the Iron City in Germany. Goodbye.